My love wasn't ever a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. But I can promise that you'll never be the Maybe I'm a little young, but you don't know what I've become. Can't you see it in my face? The demon living in disguise, but you can see the killer in my eyes. I've got a look you can't escape. Poco no mirai wa, dare ni mo wakaranai.
Jeez. Good morning, coffee beans. I'm sorry. Yes, I was muted. It's been a day. It's been a day, and it's early still. That's what we're dealing with here, folks. Couple of things I want to some what we call it cleaning house, whatever, I guess. The last couple of days, there was a couple of donations that came in after the stream. Stream was over with, whatever. And a person felt, I guess, like wanted to be, to be a part of this project and wanted to be a part of the whatever. And so they donated a substantial amount. Well, I think it's a substantial amount of money. That's my metric. I think it's quite a bit of money. Maybe to some people it's not, but to me, I think it is. Anyway, Jessica Pizzo over the last couple of days has donated like $50 to this project. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge that. I didn't see them. I didn't, because I don't have that stuff up and going when I'm not streaming. So I didn't see it. So I wanted to, and so she reached out to me, want to make sure that I'd gotten it, and I had to go and look at the logs or whatever. And it did come in. And so I just wanted to acknowledge that. And because any time that, you guys, feel led to, there's never, I don't want you guys ever feeling pressured to ever donate or buy merch or anything like that. But when you do, I do want to acknowledge it. And I do want to celebrate that with you. Simply because, like I said, the money that, that is made on this channel, be it via donations or merch sales. And if we keep going, guys, we're going to qualify for that YouTube partnership quicker than what I thought. And so, we get that money, we get Big Daddy Google to start paying. Your body pillow. I didn't know I was selling body pillows, line maker, but you know what? If there's someone out there that's selling body pillows and you want to cuddle with it, you just knock yourself out. Okay. You just go to town with it. Right. Probably better me than some of your past antics, because at least I'm of age. Anyway. So, I seen some people in the chat wanting to know, what is it that Tommy going to say yes to? Well, I woke up this morning and I saw this, very much of it. Shut up, Mountain Man. Anybody asking you? Damn. I'll come up here and hating this early in the morning. But anyway, I woke up and was scrolling Twitter this morning, And I see this. It says GSB has been kicked off the Law Cow podcast. I didn't know he was ever part of it. I thought he had rejected it, but I digress. He goes on to say, for not responding to emails, Wings and Boogie need a third host. I suggest TommyC SFTP. So let's see what some of the fans are saying. So Willie Mack, which is a fan and supporter, ardent supporter of Tommy C, says yes. So he's all for it. Yes. Nicholas Diorio says full circus. Even Bo Blacks is saying yes. 80-30 is flamenco. No, it should not be flamenco. 80-30. I'm telling you, no. Joy Westside, which is one of Tommy's inner circle, right? One of the inner circle, one of the selected few, says yes. Okay. Badwick, no, coordinating would not work. Asher says, please, Tommy. Okay. I'm looking down through here. I don't think there's anything. Probably one of Tommy's closest, if not closest friends, right? DeadOnDave says, well, he's fat enough now for the role. Joking aside, he would be good for that. So I know you guys are here because you want my thoughts. What do I think about it, right? So what I think about it is this, is I think Tommy should do it. I know that there is some negative connotations with the name Law Cow, right? But I think we have to put that aside. I think that by Tommy doing this, he will secure a pretty good paycheck, because if my memory serves me right, right off the bat, excuse me, man, I got a little allergy things going today. If memory serves me correct, Keemstar was going to pay each one of them right off the bat, irregardless of what the show did or didn't do, $25,000 a piece. Okay. Plus there would be back end stuff as far as percentage of revenues off of ads and brand deals and all that kind of stuff. Right. I think that it would also, put the money part of it aside. Right. I think that this also could very well expose Tommy, both good and bad, because let's be honest, Wings and Boogie have some pretty ardent detractors out there that really just don't like them, right? But here's the deal. Irregardless if somebody's watching you because they like you or they love you and they support you and they support the endeavors that you're doing, or they're sitting there and they're hate watching you, they're watching you, right? If they're writing things in the comment section that, mocking, ridiculing you, whatever it is that they're doing, that is still interaction, right? You don't have to respond to it. You don't have to engage in it. You let them do them and you do you, right? I don't know what Tommy will do. I don't know if Tommy has any desire. Tommy may be wanting to kind of keep on the path that he's on and that, the train that he's riding, and it's going. But this might inject some new life into and some new followers. So who knows? I would never presume to know the mind of Tommy C. That's just not something I would ever even attempt to try to do. But I think it would be entertaining. I I think that I know I would watch it. I know I would support Tommy, and I would support Boogie. I don't know a lot about Wings, other than I do know he has a very sordid past when it comes to the internet. Um, but excuse me, if they can, if Wings and Boogie can kind of keep things in check, if Tommy can put up with Wings and Boogie, some of their shenanigans that they seem to tend to get into, it could be something. It could be a beautiful thing, as they say, right? And I hope I do. I hope it kind of works out. I hope it's able to go forward. I hope it's able to be a thing. But who knows? Who knows? So you know what I haven't done in a long time that I have been negligent in doing, and I should do a little bit better of it. Is I haven't really acknowledged the chat here in a while. So, because you guys know I get to talking and stuff. If I start interacting with chat, then I kind of get derailed, and I don't like to do that. So, but let's see here. We got Joshua Putman in here this morning, squatching Mike the Bike. Yeah, I saw Mike says he blocked him. Yeah, I saw that, Mike. You know, some people just can't take a joke, I guess, right? So what, Alberta's on fire? Squatching, you guys are on fire up there? I didn't know that. I hate that, man. I hate that. Well, hopefully you guys get some rain, can get that under control. We got Nani's Moose. I'll see Wordsmithy's in here this morning. How you doing, darling? Joshua Putman. Dan 240p. Hey, by the way, while I mentioned Dan's name here, Dan and Doug the Man, and I guess now Abby Blackbird, if I remember correctly, if that was, they've got a podcast that they're doing called, I think it's called the ADHD podcast, something like that. I did listen to, like, I think the first episode. It wasn't bad. A little rough, but I think they'll find their stride. I think they'll get in there. And I like Dan and I like Doug. Doug his laugh is so infectious. I mean, how could, Doug's just a good person all the way around. And I so, who else we got here? Beth Ann Pinkalinsky. What else we got here? Who else we got? K-Huck. Hey, let me tell you something. K-Huck is an up-and-coming mega streamer. She is getting her ducks in a row, and she is going to bust onto the scene, and she's going to be the next greatest thing. I think she's going to probably, she may even be bigger than someone like, I don't know, some really big streamers out there. I don't know. Well, like if I say the women, right, like they're all like really problematic, like Pokimane or SS Sniper Wolf, or any of those things. So I don't want to correlate her to that. You know what I'm saying? So bigger than I, show speed. Yeah, but he's kind of a dingbat, But anyway, no, I think she's gonna do good things. I just say that she's gonna do some good things. Who else we got out here? Of course, Lion Maker, yeah, coveting his body pillow. Joshua Putman, Mountain Man. Be nice to you. Mountain says, "Be nice to me, or I'll tell." Go ahead and tell. I don't give a shit. Joy Westside. I'm so happy for Tommy. If this happens, please God, let it happen. Right, Joy. Right. We need this to happen. You're in his ear. You've got the man's ear. Get in there and say, "Hey, man, work your magic, man. You got the king ears, king ear, the king. Get in there and talk to the man." Yeah. Inner circle. Exactly. Make the money, man. Grab the bag. What else we got here? Am I missing anybody? Squatching. I think I said Squatching. If I didn't, I'm sorry, Squatching. Seanree's in the house this morning. I hope you're feeling better, hon. She has been sick, y'all. Seanree's been so sick. I felt so bad for her yesterday. Voltage Mike, Nuclear Winter, Orson Welles, and Captain Poofers. All right. So I think I got everybody. If I missed anybody, my humblest of apologies. I'm sorry. Anyway, I don't know. I hope that Keem was serious on that, and I hope that Tommy gives it some serious thought. I think it would be good, personally. I think it would be very entertaining, and I think his fans would 100% support him, and I think he would have an opportunity to even maybe make some new fans. And so anyway, and besides, they could get on there because all three of them, I think, have those one-up arcades, so they could all get on there and talk about how much they love their one-up arcades together. Well, thank you for putting on the stream, Shawnee, and I do hope you're feeling better, hon. I really do. So anyway, what is this here? Who am I getting a DM from here? Captain Poofers. What are you sending me? Yeah, we're going to get into that here in a second there, Captain. Thank you, sir. I was impressed with this. Look at this old dude. Watch this old dude here, right? And they say here that the CCTV idiots is the Twitter account. It says grandpa still got it. Well, he may not necessarily be a grandpa. He could just be an older guy, but whatever. I get the point, I guess. Watch this. Watch this. Look, watch this. Oh, he kick flips it, goes up. I can't remember what those were called. Back in the day, I used to know all these tricks. I had a buddy that was a real big, would do all this kind of stuff on the bicycles and stuff. Look at that. And then he just turns around and rides off. Look at that. Now tell me that is not balling. That is balling. Bunny hop, is that what that was called, squatching? Okay. I can't remember. It's been too long since I've done all that. Yeah, exactly. That's OG. That is old school G stuff right there. 100% old school G stuff. This next one, I'm going to tell you something. This dude here is a freaking superhero. This man climbed out on his 8th floor apartment building, and you can see here in the still, there is a 3-year-old that is hanging, has fell out the window, right? And he has climbed out and gotten on top, and watch what happens here. Because eventually that kid's going to lose his grip. He's not going to be able to hold on forever, right? So he's already, so the dude's already got his hand on it, but the kid's freaking out, right? He's like, let go, I got you. And he got him. There you go. Freaking, that's what you call a W. And look here, he's going to get him back inside the house here. He's going to hand him off, and boom, they pull him inside, and the kid's saved. And now he gets back inside, and because here's the thing, right? I'm sure they called rescue. I'm sure they called, that type of thing. But that kid wasn't going to probably be able to hold on there, right, until they got there. So that guy is extremely brave, and he's a hero. And those parents owe him a great, great debt of thankfulness. Really, really do. So this next one is pretty wild. This is a pretty wild story. So the smugglers in Hong Kong tried to smuggle some NVIDIA graphics cards inside a shipment of lobsters, y'all. Look at this. So there's some of these graphics cards that they were trying to ship out, right? So I'm like, Here we go. Let's pull up this news article here by Dirk Stowe. Whatever, I can never say this thing right. So smugglers have been intercepted with a 617-pound shipment of live lobsters, which also had 70 NVIDIA Quadro graphic cards valued at over $70,000. Okay. It feels like tech smugglers come up with ingenious ways to try and traffic illicit goods between borders. We previously seen SD cards hidden in bikes, as well as a woman who used a fake belly to hide tech inside. The latest story comes after Hong Kong authorities intercepted a van full of live lobsters being imported into China. According to the register, the vehicle was intercepted last week as it attempted to get into Hong Kong Zhuhai Mako Bridge, but what they found was a strange shipment, which contained lobsters as well as 70 NVIDIA graphics cards. It says after the vehicle was intercepted, the perpetrators could not come up with any official paperwork for the confounding cargo. Hong Kong authorities value the graphic cards at $76,500, but there's another interesting wrinkle in the story: the actual graphic cards themselves. They weren't even good GPUs. The GPUs featured by the Hong Kong authorities don't showcase anything new, exciting like an RTX 4090, but instead featured old NVIDIA Quadro workstation graphics card. As far as we can tell from the images supplied, the specific card is reportedly an NVIDIA Quadro K2200, which is about as powerful as over a decade-old GTX 560 Ti. Yeah, so I kind of question the value, this dollar amount, $76,500. Are you kidding me? So let's just take a real quick here. Search. Yeah, you can get them here in the States for like $160. Used you can get for like $36. And I'm going to say that these probably are used because they're not packaged really, whatever, right? So you get these things for like mid-30s on eBay and stuff. So yeah, I think a little bit of exaggeration on the dollar amount of these things, but still, it's just crazy that they were sitting there trying to smuggle these things in through a shipment of lobsters. You know, that's oh man, talking about when you fire them things up, started getting hot. What are you talking about? Some lobster. Nasty. So anyway, oh man. Whew. All right. So not too long ago, there was a topic of what is a booby shot, right? Or a titty shot, booby shot, right? What is that? And I was mistaken about what a booby shot was. So I was sent this, and I'm going to leave the person who sent this name anonymous so as not to embarrass them. Because for whatever reason, I guess they feel like they need to, educate this old man. I think I have to keep the volume down a little bit on this because I think there's like music on this and I don't want to get. Anyway, so here we go. So as you can see here, we've got some young girls in a club type inviting setting, and evidently she's got a glass of alcohol in between her breasticles. So let's see what happens here. So she look at, and she just squirts it all over this dude standing here. So that's a booby shot. So you take it and then you just squirt it on the guy standing next to you. Is that how you do the booby shots? I'm confused. I thought the whole thing was you're supposed to swallow the alcohol, not squirt it on the dude next to you. But I don't know. You kids and your fads these days. I just don't know. I don't know. So hang on a second here. I need to get a few more things up here. So just bear with me for a second. Let's see, I need to go. Willie Mack. We're going to talk about Willie Mack today. Everybody loves Willie Mack, right? Yeah, so we'll go right here. We'll go with this one here. Okay. So, when was this here? Let me do some searching here, guys. Bear with me here for 1 second here. We'll try to get these things in order events. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so when did this come out? May the 5th. This is May 5th, 1:58 p.m. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. All right. So we have some new drama, not new drama, but we have an update to the whole. Hang on a second here, because I like to do things on the fly a little bit sometimes, guys. So, and since I'm not in any rush this morning, right? When I do this, I'm going to do this, and we're going to do this right. And what we're going to do is we're going to make somebody look really, really stupid. So let me do something here. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So we're going to start here. Now, what this is this is the video that iDubbbz put out, titled "Addressing the Froggy Fresh Drama." Right. So in this, he makes a statement, and I believe I've got this queued up here where we need it to be.
Like, Ian goes from the person who would be dogging people, who would sue people, to then like his event that he's running is suing people. It's like a complete flip.
By the way, we weren't suing Froggy. We have no interest in going to court over $15,000. We wanted that $15,000 back, but, you know, he wasn't giving it to us. So we have to leave it at that. You know, we're not suing him.
Okay. So that's what Ian says. We wanted the $15,000 back, but we were not going to sue him, and we're going to just leave it at that, right? That's what he says. Well, Froggy Fresh puts out this Twitter statement, and here's what he says. He says, "I know everyone's sick of hearing about this, and trust me, I'm sick of talking about it. So if you're over this, you can just scroll past. No big deal. I get it. But I have to finally address this big point, which is Ian saying they weren't threatening to sue me. Attached is the legal letter I was sent threatening legal action. I highlighted the important parts also to clarify the only things I had done up to this point is spoken to Ian on the phone and through text, trained with Sam Hyde, and the OnlyFans joke. Of course, Maureen and I's Twitter exchange, which iDubbbz didn't include in his video for obvious reasons. Now, Maureen, who he's referencing to, is Ian's mother-in-law and Anissa's mother. And she's the one who came in there and started talking about how she hoped that they were removing the imp, remember, from this event. So she was not being very, and which is really kind of funny because they kept talking about how this event was going to be an inclusive event, right? And that they didn't want people to be. But she comes in firing these hot shots, calling him an imp, claiming that he had brain damage, that his testicles had shrunken, all these things, right? Mom comes in hot. I mean, she's firing on all 12 cylinders right at Froggy. And Froggy hadn't had zero interactions with this woman prior. But she comes in and she just goes ballistic. She goes like level 12 on this. I mean, she took that knob and turned it off, ripped it off the whole damn thing, and just said, boom, I'm going after him, right? Okay, now, so she says, also to clarify, the only things I had done up to this point was spoken to EOK today, exchange which I was didn't clean for office. Okay, since she was publicly discussing my removal from the event before I had even been contacted regarding it, Ian's timeline of events is skewered. I didn't start publicly bad-mouthing the event till after I had been kicked. Okay? You need to know this. If you go back and you look, he's 100% correct, right? He didn't say anything disparagingly. He didn't say anything about anything about the event that was negative until they kicked him, right? And how did they kick him? Well, he said he received a text message from one of the, I guess, administrative people within that organization and said, have you seen your email? He then goes up his email, opens his email up, sees what's there, shows it to his wife, and that's how he was informed that his services were no longer required for this event. Okay, so and as we covered this the other day, we went through this and we discussed it. If you go and you look at those quote text messages between Ian and iDubbbz, right, or iDubbbz rather, and Froggy Fresh, Froggy was repeatedly asked him, I want to, simple yes or no. Can I or can I not train with this man? Ian says, well, I made it perfectly clear, but if you read the text messages, no, he wouldn't answer it. And then even in his video, Ian says, hey, I said not to do this, but you're going to do it anyway. So I moved past that. And then I said, well, I don't want you putting out content about it, but then you did anyway, right? But then I just felt like you weren't going to be in good faith. So what else happened, right? Because if Ian was willing to overlook the whole working out with Sam Hyde, being trained by Sam Hyde, right? If he says, okay, I'm overlook that. And then he said, well, I was overlooking the fact that he retweeted something that Sam had tweeted out, and that he made a short little Twitter video about how he had just gotten back from Sam Hyde and was talking up Sam Hyde as a person, right? And he goes, I was willing to even overlook that. So what else? What else happened? What else? What else did Ian or did Froggy do that could have been construed as a problematic? Oh, that's right. He made a Twitter video where he was talking smack against his partner, Chris Ray Gunn, and said, if I can't hurt this dude, if I can't beat this dude, then I'm going to sign up for Anissa's OnlyFans. And then he gets booted. Remember that. That's the timeline. That's what happened. And that's using Ian's own video and what he said, because he was willing to overlook the fact that he trained with Sam Hyde. He was willing to overlook the fact that he put out those social media or the whatever promotional video things or whatever, which wasn't. Let's be honest, it wasn't. One freaking a couple of tweets and one little Twitter video. That's content. No. So he goes on. He said, I didn't start publicly bad-mouthing the event till after I had been kicked. They kicked me, and then they sent me this letter telling me to basically shut up about it. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's pull up these, and let's go over these letters. And it says via email. This Creator Clash 2, Creator Clash LLC, March 25th, 2023. RE, notice of termination, about agreement. Dear Mr. Cassidy, as you know, Creator Clash LLC, Creator Clash, entered into a bout agreement with you dated September 20th, 2022. The bout agreement, in connection with your scheduled participation in Creator Clash 2, the event, based on your recent conduct, Creator Clash has determined you have materially breached Section 8C of the bout agreement, specifically by, and here's what's important, engaging in conduct that has degraded and offended the event sponsors. Based on this material breach of the bout agreement, Creator Clash is hereby providing you a notice pursuant to Section 12 of the bout agreement that is terminating the bout agreement effective immediately. Please advise that you shall no longer participate in the event or any of its event activities, and pursuant to Section 8C of the bout agreement, Creator Clash shall have no further duties or obligation to you. In addition, please be advised that the confidentiality of obligations set forth in Section 17 of the bout agreement shall survive termination of the bout agreement. Thus, Creator Clash 2 demands that you immediately cease and desist from making any further public or private statements about Creator Clash, your participation in the event, terms of the bout agreement, or this letter, or any of the participants or event sponsors of Creator Clash. Continuing to engage in such conduct will cause you to be liable for damages to Creator Clash, and Creator Clash will seek all remedies available to it in order to protect its rights. Now, to my knowledge, I don't believe Froggy ever said anything about any of the sponsors or anything of that nature. He said nothing. Unless OnlyFans, right? But OnlyFans was not a sponsor, right? Creator Clash is presently evaluating all courses of action that may be available to it due to your actions and omissions, which has caused Creator Clash to incur significant damages. Interesting. What it goes on to say. According, Creator Clash hereby reserves all of its respective rights, powers, and remedies under the bout agreement and applicable law. No failure, whether at this time or in the future, by Creator Clash to exercise or delay any exercising any right, power, privilege, or remedy that may now have or may have in the future under or in connection with the bout agreement shall impair, prejudice, or constitute a waiver or deemed waiver, or such right, power, privilege, or remedy, all of which is hereby reserved and preserved for the entity. Basically, what they're saying is just because we don't take action right now immediately does not mean that we cannot take action against you in the future. What action is there? Legal. That's all the thing that there is, legal. Okay. Notwithstanding the foregoing, as you know, Creator Clash previously advanced you $15,000 for training expenses in connection with the event. The advance, which Advanced Creator Clash is entitled to be refunded in full due to your material breach of the bout agreement. Creator Clash will agree to release any claims with respect to the advance and any damages Creator Clash may have suffered due to your material breach of a consideration for your signing of the non-disparagement agreement attached hereto as Exhibit A. If you are in agreement with this proposed release, please execute and return the non-disparagement agreement no later than 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So, if he has not signed a non-disparaging agreement, which is what they're saying, right, then how are they saying that he I'm not a lawyer, right? I'm not a lawyer. I didn't attend law school, but they go on to say here that returning closed acknowledgement by the specified date, Creator Clash will seek all remedies available to it at law and equity due to your material breach of the bout agreement, including without limitation seeking punitive and consequential damages. Guys, I don't know about you, right? I don't know about you. Let's see here. Well, let's go back and let's listen. Let's listen to what Ian says again.
Like, Ian goes from the person who would be dogging people, who would sue people, to then like his event that he's running is suing people. It's like a complete flip.
By the way, we weren't suing Froggy. We have no interest in going to court over $15,000. We wanted that $15,000 back, but, you know, he wasn't giving it to us. So we have to leave it at that. You know, we're not suing him.
We're not suing him. That's not what that paperwork showed. That's not what that paperwork showed at all. So, Froggy dumps that paperwork out, right? He says, hey, proving that Ian flat out lied. There's no other way to, there's no sugarcoating it. There's no spinning it. There's no nothing. Ian lied. Ian says, we're not suing. That paperwork proved other. They threatened him. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys. They succinctly say in there, even though we do not at this point in time take any type of action against you, don't misconstrue that as that at some point in time in the future, we can take action against you. Right. So there's this, I don't know what, but it's like they're basically saying, here's the deal, Froggy, we're putting you inside this guillotine, and we've got the thing up here ready to come down and chop your head off, and it's just sitting there. And anytime we decide to pull the rope, cut your head off, we're going to do that. That's essentially what they're doing. They're putting him on the chopping block, and they're saying, okay, whenever we decide to, we're going to execute this against you. We're going to come at you, and this is what's going to happen to you. Not only are we going to get the $15,000 that we gave you as far as an advancement for training, right, that he spent, that I assume Froggy spent on training, right? Not only are we going to do that, but we can also come at you punitively, which means that they can try to say that because of this negative publicity that was generated because of what was put out there and what was revealed, that it impacted their sales, both in attendance and pay-per-view sales. And if they can establish or in some way spin that to where was the case, then they could come after him and sue him for even more, right? So, Ian, don't sit there on your high horse, bud, and sit there and say, we were not going to see. No, that's exactly what that paperwork says. And not only did it say that they were going after the $15,000 advance that you gave him, but you were also threatening to go at him for punitive damages as well. So either A, sir, you're lying, or B, you don't know what was sent to Froggy, which kind of goes back to what Froggy was saying, that you and him really were not communicating. And it sounds like to me that possibly you and other people within your organization are not communicating. Or C, you're just damn stupid and don't remember the conversations that you're having with people. It's just really all that simple. It's not much more than that. Okay. Now, so Froggy dumps that out, right? And that's a pretty big bombshell. That really shows Ian as being disingenuous and dishonest, okay? So Anissa, coming out to defend her man, says, I want to clarify something. We pay each fighter a purse of $20K for fighting in the event, which is awarded net 30 after you complete your fight. We came up with that number because it was guaranteed covered training costs, so no one's losing money doing it. It's not literally for training. Most fighters pay for training and get their fighter's purse for fighting, like any other fighting contract. Sometimes we lend money in the good faith that when someone can afford to train to the level we desire, that's us advancing their purse. We do not pay for training. Okay, fine. I don't think anyone was saying, I didn't see anywhere where Froggy said that they were paying for his training. I don't know why she's having tried to make that distinction. And what does it matter? Not excited for whatever comments show up on this thread, but I want to make it clear that $20,000 payment for completing the contract and fighting. We don't pay for training. We advance in good faith. Okay, fine. Again, where was that? Okay. Don't know why this is such a big deal. No money out for any charity's pocket. Fighters and their trainers need to be compensated for work they put in and the show they put on. Keemstar was just pulling at straws. Don't know why this was criticized at all. Jack Shackelford says, Anissa says, it's really built into our budget and costs. That's there while the event is happening at all. We ask them to sacrifice a year of their life and pay a ton of money while slowing down on content creation. Charity still benefits massively. All right. Riley says, why don't you address that Ian lied for not threatening to sue? We all just saw the gag order sent to Froggy Fresh. He did not lie. He said we aren't suing him and we were never planning on suing him, which is true. That's very normal for a lawyer to write out what's within legal rights as a company to do to a contract breach. No one's suing him. He's keeping that money. Okay. I'm going to ask you a question, because you, Anissa, Ian, and Harley, and all these other guys talking about how, how communicative that you were, Anissa, and how if Froggy gets a text message from someone within your office and they said, have you seen your email? He opens up the email. He gets the letter we just went over, right? What's he supposed to take away from that? Because it clearly says in there, we want this money back. If you don't want to give the money back, fine. Then we want you to shut up. We don't want you to say another word, which is what Froggy said that was in this letter. He never lied about that. And the letter goes on further to say that if you don't shut up, if you don't, then not only are we going to come for the $15,000 advancement, right? But we can also go after you for punitive damages as well. So tell me where Froggy has lied, misrepresented things, right? Because unless you've got something, Anissa, Ian, that shows you guys communicating to Froggy, listen, we're not really going to sue you. We just want you to give us the money back. If you can't do that because the money has already been spent for training or whatever, yada, yada, yada. We understand that. Maybe you don't have the money. Maybe it's not in your budget because you just, you don't have that kind of money. Then all we're going to ask you is just to hush, to be quiet about it. That's all we're asking. If you don't have something, right, some sort of communication where you sent that to him saying, listen, we're not going to sue you. That's just legalese that the lawyers put in or whatever. Okay, I can get that. I can understand what her stance is, right? Because that's reasonable. I think that's what a lawyer would do, because a lawyer's going to look out for their client's best interest, which in this case is career clash organization. I get that. But if you never conveyed that to Froggy prior to him making those statements and putting that public, right? Then how was he to know there was never a threat of, quote, lawsuit? Because if all he has is this document that he received from your law offices, right, the law firm representing you, whatever, if that's all he has, then that's all he has to go on. And, Ian goes on and on and on in his video about how Anissa is the more communicative, that she's better at dealing with people. And he talks about how he's not real good about communicating with people and engaging, that he's awkward about it, right? Fair. Then was she communicating this to them? Was she talking to Froggy? Because according to Froggy, there was like one or two text messages the entire time prior to the whole big blow up. So it doesn't sound like to me she was real communicative to me, period. What is this, Nad? You know what I think, people? I think this is all being controlled by Big Bad James as revenge for Froggy dunking on him all those years ago. You know what? You're probably right, Nad. You are probably right. That's a good point. Nad brings out a really good point, people. All right, so let's go on into this a little bit further, because there's more. It doesn't end there, right? So our hero, the man we need for the hour, Willie Mack, comes in and says, imagine trying to sue a guy for money he's used for training and trying to get it back on a loophole, right? And he quote tweets this whole thread here that Anissa put out, right? And, she's talking about, I don't feel like anyone can read, whatever. So he quote tweets everything This is, the thread that we just kind of went over, other than I didn't do the whole no one can read or whatever, right? All of a sudden, now notice here, right? He doesn't tag her, doesn't tag Anissa. There's no tagging, right? And poof, she shows up, boom, mysteriously right there, right? She says, sign an NDA, keep the $15K that isn't yours. That was the offer. He wasn't interested. We didn't pursue any further, nor were we ever planning to. That's it. Willie says, I guess NDA is so he doesn't express discontent for being kicked off. And did she say anything else? No. Okay. No, the NDA basically was telling him to shut up. That's all that was. The NDA, basically was, shut up or we're going to sue you. That's it, right? Hang on here. That's not what I want. Where is it at? Over here. Let me come back in here. Yeah. So under the original post, this is the original post, Froggy Fresh. Nicholas Dioro comes in here and says, just a reminder about how many lied on your name about this. And this was a tweet that Nicholas put out. This was clipped from I can't remember what this chick's name was. She was one of the boxers, but this was back on April the 8th. This was prior to the Creator Clash boxing event, because the boxing event, I think, was on the 15th, I think, something like that. But she put this out, and let's listen to what she says about this whole thing.
But that document is not litigation, and it's not them trying to sue him. Essentially, Tyler, Froggy Fresh, was given $15,000 for training purposes. And for the record, I was not given that money. I don't know if anyone else was. I think it was effectively like a financial aid for him specifically, because I guess he requested it. I'm not entirely sure how that went down, because he needed the help paying for training. I don't know how much money he spent. I don't think that I've spent $15,000 paying for my training or my meals. It certainly costs thousands of dollars, but I don't think I would have spent anywhere near $15,000. And what they did was send him a letter saying, hey, can we have the $15,000 back? The reason they did that was because now that he's no longer fighting because of breach of contract, he had to be replaced. That money that was given to him is just taken out of charity at this point.
Taken out of charity. Taken out of charity. Taken out of charity. Hang on here. Where was it? I want to clarify something. We pay each fighter a purse of $20,000 for a fight in the event, which is awarded net $30,000 after you complete your fight. We came up with that number because it will guarantee cover training costs, so no one's losing money doing it, and not literally for training. Most fighters pay for training, get their fighter's purse for fighting. Sometimes we lend money in good faith. Not okay. It's literally built into our budget and costs. That's why the event is happening at all. We ask them to sacrifice a year of their life and pay a ton of money while slowing down on content creation. Charity still benefits massively. So if it's part of your budget and costs, let's back up here a second.
No longer fighting because of breach of contract, he had to be replaced. That money that was given to him is just taken out of charity.
Hold it. You're lying. It's part of their budget cost, which means it was never anything that was contributed to planned for charity to begin with. Who gave you your talking points? Who gave you your narrative? Because you've already got at the beginning said it was not a lawsuit. You already said that it was not a lawsuit. You said that the document was not a lawsuit. Who gave you your talking points, madam? Because I think somebody lied to you too. So now guess what you have all over your face?
At this point. So essentially, they're not going to ask him for money he doesn't have. If he doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the money. And if he can't return it, the other clause was you can just keep it if you just stop talking about it, which I guess he's kind of said no to both options. That is not them trying to sue him. I think that was an offer, but I don't think that's their way of being like, if you don't do these things, we're going to sue you. And
You don't think, but you never seen the document. So you don't know what was sent. But you're out here talking like an authoritative on the situation. And guess what? We do know that's exactly what they said. They said not only would they go after the 15,000, but they would also go and be punitive in it.
At no point did they ever say that. But the $15,000 thing, again, is not them suing him for $15,000. That's them asking him if they can have, going to sue you, and at no point did they ever say that. But the $15,000 thing, again, is not them suing him for $15,000. That's them asking him if they can have the money that they loaned him back for the fight, because that money is being taken out of the charity directly, because that's how it works, right?
No, it's not taken out of the... They've said... I'd have to go find it, but I think it was maybe on an H3H3 podcast that they said that charity gets once all the bills are paid, right? So they're giving the boxers a bag for boxing, right? Now that money can go towards recouping costs that they had for training, recouping costs that they had because they had to slow down on content creation, which I don't understand that, because they could take and do their training and make their training part of the content creation. They could still make content, bring it up. So I don't understand that argument. I can understand that they're going to have additional costs for training, hiring trainers to learn how to box, how to defend themselves, things of that nature. So I get that. So there would be an additional cost in their life at that point in time, right? But I can even understand that their diet and stuff may have to have changed a little bit. So their cost of their food could have went up a little bit or fluctuated. I get that as well, right? But I don't...
They have to give money to the other fighter for training purposes. And if that's just $15,000 that they no longer have access to for somebody who's no longer participating in the fight, that is $15,000 wasted that otherwise would be going to one of these charities. So the dude is not being sued. Nobody is threatening to sue him. It's ultimately just being like, okay, if you have any of that money, can we put it towards the charity? If you have any left, rather than you just getting to keep it now that this has gone down. Chris said, hey, Alana, do you think you're going to win? I cannot wait to see it. But that...
So he's not being sued. He's not being threatened to be sued. But let's go back here. If you fail to return the enclosed acknowledgement by the specified date, Creator Clash shall seek all remedies available to it at law and equity due to your material breach of bout agreement, including without limitation seeking punitive and consequential damages. But he's not being sued. So Nicholas Doria puts this out, says, just a reminder how me lied on your name about this. Froggy says, I know, brother, I really feel annoying constantly being talked about this, but it's, hang on a second here. He says, I know, brother, I really feel annoying constantly talking about this, but it's like I have to say something or people start saying I was lying. Willie says, man, Ian, what the fuck is this? Let's see what else here. I've seen something about, what was it you were saying, Captains? Scroll down, mic drop, boom. Yeah. So, here's the bottom line. Okay. And I've heard some rumblings, right? And I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say this is 100% speculation. I have not had time to research this myself, but I've heard some rumblings. And I don't know, honestly, if it makes any difference or not on this. So let me just say this. The examples that iDubbbz gave about his wife being dissed, being talked disparagingly about by Sam Hyde. Some of the stuff that Sam Hyde said was for me was out of pocket. Okay, I wouldn't say that about a woman. Okay. But I'm not Sam Hyde. And I'm not here to police what Sam Hyde says, period. I will even go on further to say that if somebody talked about that way about my wife, I wouldn't be real happy about it either and would not want to associate with him. Okay. Wouldn't want to have anything to do with him. Period. I wouldn't. But, and for some people, I know this will make I know for some people, this would make it matters, right? So the question is, was Sam Hyde saying all this stuff about Anissa prior to Froggy being removed and, or was this stuff said after Froggy was removed? Now, for like I say, some people that's inconsequential. Doesn't matter. He said it and it's out of pocket. All right. But some people says, well, okay, he was saying and he was acting this way and he was doing these things because of what Ian and Anissa were doing to a friend of his, Froggy Fresh. And so some people feel like, okay, it's justified. All right. Like I said, I personally think it's out of pocket. I don't think you should talk about a woman that way. I don't care how horrible of a person she or he, whatever. I just think that's out of pocket. But that's me. And again, I'm not going to police anybody about what they say. I'm just not going to do it. But that being said, I will say this. If it turns out to be truthful that this was after the fact, that really makes Ian look bad, because the way that he portrayed this was stuff that was going on prior to all this. And that was just more reason why he didn't want Sam Hyde, and because he said for months. And if that's the case, he was misleading there. And the problem that I kind of have with all this and why it very well possibly could be true is we know that Ian was very selective and he misrepresented quite a bit in that video already. And so it's not, in my opinion, Ian's truthfulness is in question. I'll put it that way. And we got a caller. So good morning, Captain Poofers. You are muted, sir, so you have to unmute yourself. But how are you doing this morning? Because I don't know, you're not server muted. So are you there? Hang on here. I'm gonna put you back into a different channel and see if we can get rid of that glitch. Hang on, I'll pull you right back in. All right, hang on.
Here we go.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Give me 1 second. Let me mute the stream.
Okay, Captain.
Okay, I do have a little bit of an insight on the Sam Hyde thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So the rumor that's going around is, from what I understand, Sam Hyde was saying this stuff after Froggy was kicked.
Okay.
I've been looking into this a little bit. I think it was after Sam Hyde was kicked from Creator Clash 1.
Okay.
If you remember, Sam Hyde was kicked from and banned from Creator Clash 1. He bought front row tickets for all his friends.
Yeah.
And he was excited to go. And at last minute, Ian pulled his tickets, banned him from the event. And I think that's when he started spouting all these things and talking about Anissa's wife, which I think still, I mean, it gives context to the situation. I think he has every right to be mad at both Sam Hyde and, well, I'm not. I mean, Sam Hyde is mad at Ian, and I think he has every right to be. Mm-hmm. So,
well, okay. So again, like I said, some people are going to still, okay. So even if it was after the Creator Clash 1 where he was banned and so forth. Okay. So some people still will feel that, it's a little out of pocket about talking about somebody's wife that way.
Oh, I agree.
And I tend to be in that, because I don't, I think there's a lot of things that you can critique Anissa on that is above board and is 100% she's critiquable about. She is a public figure And I think you can go hard on those things and hold her feet to the fire about, and even Ian for that matter. But there again, I'm also a person that I really feel like you attacking a person's public or their physical appearance rather is, and sometimes I've done that. Like I allow my temper to kind of get away with me a little bit, and I will take the low shot. But I always feel horrible about it afterwards because I'm like, you got to keep your emotions in check, and you can't allow yourself.
Well,
right?
it's Sam Hyde we're talking about. He is a comedian,
Well,
and I think he was.
sure.
I think he was making jokes, and I think he was making jabs.
Yeah.
I think maybe they were a little out of line, just a little bit. But at the end of the day, I mean, jokes are subjective. People are going to either laugh at them or they're not. So in that respect, I think I can defend what Sam Hyde is saying. But at the end of the day, he's also going after Anissa to get it in, which I don't know if that's a good thing. You should go after Ian.
Yes, I would agree with that. Go after Ian. If your beef is with Ian, go after Ian. Don't go after their family members, irregardless if they're a public figure or not. If you want to go after Anissa because of some things that Anissa, then fine. Go after Anissa. Attack some of the brain dead things that she said and done. No problems. But if your beef is with Ian, you should keep it focused on Ian. But
oh yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So like I said, here's the thing, if it, again, I'm not the word police, and I'm not going to sit here and police and say, Sam, you shouldn't say this. Sam, you shouldn't do it. Sam could do whatever he wants to say or do. Okay. Free speech and all that, but I'm just saying, as for myself, I wouldn't do that. And I do think it's a little bit disrespectful, but that's just me.
I just wanted
to,
I just wanted to give context to the situation.
Yeah.
Because I was looking into it, and I just found out some of this stuff recently. So
yeah.
Anyway,
well, thank you for bringing that information on. I appreciate it, and keep making that good content, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Well, now, before you don't run off. Let everybody know where they can find you, Poofers. Tell them where they can find you.
I got a YouTube channel, Captain Poofers. I do a series called Insert Coin, Get Cancer, and you guys can check me out there. I'm going to be working on a video on, part 2 on Ian coming up soon.
Cool. So. Look forward to it, sir. Thank you so much for calling in. Have a great day, buddy.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. And that was Captain Poofers. He's a pretty cool dude. Poofers and I we've back and forth in the Twitter DMs a few times stuff. He sent me a few things and what have you. We've, bantered back and forth. So make sure you check him out over there on his YouTube channel. Let me see here real quick. I should have done this while he was talking, but I'm a goofer. I'm a goof, and let's see. Here we go.
There.
So this is the Captain Poofers. Check him out here. Here we go, and boom, there's a link to his channel. Make sure you go check out Captain Poofers there, right? Let's see what here is playlist. He goes, he has a playlist. See, here you go. He's talking about insert coin, get cancer. There you go. Why am I not subscribed? Dadgum. And there we go. Get the notifications on too. So make sure you guys go out there and sub and check out Captain Poofers. Sub to him, get those notifications on because he does good things. So anyway, let's see what else. Okay, one last thing. And then we're going to call it a day, boys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Hang on here. What's going on there? Hang on a second, guys. What is this here? Okay. I don't know. My Twitter is blowing up. I was just wondering, okay, make sure there's nothing happening over there. Anything that I need to address. All right. So one last little thing here. I haven't really ever talked about this creator before. And me and this creator, for the most part, have been cordial to each other. I have not always agreed with her stances. I have not agreed with some of her statements and some of her actions and behavior. But for the most part, I am sympathetic towards her. I think she has some issues that she needs to work out. Okay. But yesterday, Nicholas DeOrio has a screenshot here, and I'm not for sure if this is like from a Discord or exactly where this is at. Maybe it's a YouTube comment underneath the YouTube. I'm not for sure. But Nicholas DeOrio says, this MF has bigger digital footprint saying racial slurs than my entire fucking friend group. That is a true statement. So take a look here at what Jalen is saying. She says, the state of commentary right now is so shit. If you don't adhere to the narrative of minorities bad, you get accused of lying when in reality it's the opposite. I've prided myself on always giving my genuine opinion on things, no matter how controversial it may be. I'm not going to stop at times like these. It's important to stick to your values, and that's what I'm going to do. The state of commentary right now is so shit. If you don't adhere to the narrative of minorities bad, you get accused of lying. So let's break this down for a second. Now, I don't know if people would actually call me part of commentary or not. I don't know if I would even put myself in that. I do think that there are aspects of what I do on my little show here every morning is commentary in nature. I think that whole segment that I just went through and did on the whole Froggy Fresh iDubbbz and Anissa thing, I would consider that commentary. I would think that I very quickly showed and proved how Ian was lying and being very misleading. I think I showed where these voice pieces that came out and showed and were stumping for Ian and Anissa because they wouldn't come out and say anything for themselves publicly. So they had people like Harley Eats and that other young girl, I can't remember her name, out here spreading misinformation, flat out lying, and either A, they had been lied to and misled on what was actually being said and done behind the scenes, or they were running with the false narrative themselves. We'll give them a benefit of the doubt and say that they were being misled. I'll give them that grace there, right? So I think that there is a certain aspect of what I do would be considered commentary, right? Now, I may not be perceived as commentary with some of the larger commentary voices in this sphere, like say Nicholas DeOrio or Augie or Bo Blacks or Tommy C, Tom, Turkey Tom, just to name a few, right? Just to name a few, Cabos, right? I may not be of that, Willie Mack. I may not be of that caliber, and that's fine. I never claimed to be. But I do think that for whatever it's worth, I do think I am somewhat in this commentary community and looked at as such. And I don't think I've ever had the narrative of minorities as bad. I don't think I've ever taken a stance of that anybody from the LGBTQ community is bad. As a matter of fact, I think that I have bent over backwards to be understanding and try to be accommodating, right? So I'm a little bit put out by this statement. I'm a little bit, dare I say, miffed about this, especially coming from somebody who has on repeated occasions said some really horrific, racially charged rants. And you know what? I have been sympathetic to Jalen. I think Jalen gets a lot of hate directed her way. And about 90% of it is because she has done something or said something to get it directed towards her. She is her own worst enemy. she shoots herself in the foot consistently, constantly. And I've kind of just sat back and said, well, you know, it is what it is. I've not really weighed in. I haven't, for the lack of it, I guess I don't necessarily like the word joined in. I guess I am kind of now, but this just kind of really put me off. It just kind of put me off because she's going to sit there and say the state of commentary right now is so shit. If you don't adhere to the narrative, minority's bad, you get accused of lying. Nick is correct when he says this motherfucker has a bigger digital footprint of saying racial slurs than my entire fucking friend group. That friend group includes people like Augie, Pole Blacks, and a few other, Turkey Tom, right? And let's be honest, Augie, Turkey Tom, Bo Blacks in the past has been kind of edgy, a little bit on that edge. I mean, for God's sakes, one of Bo Blacks' whether he likes it or not, claim to fame is the BLM song, right? So let's put things in perspective here. So when Nicholas says this, he's correct. How many times have we seen screenshots or audio or something where Jalen is out there calling people just horrific names, racially charged names? Listen, Jalen, I don't know if you think that that negative attention is good because any attention is good attention. It's not, hon. It's not. I don't know if what's going on. I don't know if you're spiraling. I don't know what the problem is. I truly don't. I like to think, hey, Max.
Sorry. I saw you talking about Jalen. I just wanted to come in really quick. Okay. If you don't mind. Sorry, I'll be real quick.
Max, you know you always have a seat at my table.
Okay, I was just making sure. So we did an interview with Jalen at Now Recording, and we haven't put it up yet. I think it should come up sometime this week. Okay, so that'd be cool.
So why are you blueballing us?
So, I don't think we meant to. I think that we were just trying to get the Illuminati video out, so that's why we didn't put out the Jalen video, because we've actually had it in the can for a second.
Sure. But, and the Illuminati was more timely, right? That's the reason. Yeah.
It's just how it worked out. But I just wanted to make the point that, like, you know, after talking to Jalen, it just seems like to me she's got this kind of emotional pit bull mentality, where it's like once she locks her jaw, she can't like unlock it. You know? Yeah. And so I think what the problem is that like the constant, like the cycle that you see is that Jalen is constantly trying to, I think in her mind, give people another chance or something like because she doesn't believe that she's necessarily in the wrong for a lot of the stuff. She thinks that it's other people that are the problem, and that Jalen maybe just has some like, you know, mental problems, but everybody else is kind of the issue. And so she will, you know, just naturally from that, just be like, no, like I disagree with you on this. And then when the person like kind of puts back in a way that like really messes with her cognitive dissonance, like the way she thinks about things in her brain, it's like, it's an emotional pit bull. It's just, she just bites down, clamps down real hard with her teeth, and just does not open back up. And this happened on the show. I don't want to spike what happens, but she ends up getting really, really angry at one of the hosts. And it was just kind of interesting to witness, because it was just like, man, he really didn't do anything to kind of invoke that in her, but you know, whatever. I just wanted to make that point. I just thought it was interesting because after talking to Jalen, I definitely got a better perspective for who she is. It just sucks because I wouldn't classify her as bad faith. I would classify her as like deeply distressed. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know how else to describe it really.
Have you seen this tweet that I was talking about that kind of got me talking about her?
Well, I mean, it's so funny because I remember because Chris the Narc actually put out a similar kind of tweet, or at least with that screenshot. And I think what I had replied was something like, I've never heard anybody use quote unquote minorities bad outside of like ridiculous hyperbolic straw man arguments. And that's the thing with Jalen, is that she has she doesn't care whether or not like what she's saying just doesn't really contort with reality.
Yeah.
Because she, like, if she sees something, then it is everywhere. Like that's the thing, is that it seems like she has a really hard time of stepping outside of herself. I don't really think that she's a very sympathetic or empathetic person. I think that's kind of part of the disconnect too, is that she can only see things from her own point of view.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, the thing of it is I don't, you know me, Max, I don't like to dogpile.
No, well,
okay.
And I don't, I agree.
Okay. And I don't like spiking the football, right?
That's true too.
So I've always kind of stayed away from this and away from her controversies, because whenever she steps in it, which seems like it's like on a regular basis, right?
Quite often,
she has a cycle. She has this very vicious cycle that she's in this rut, and for whatever reason, she can't seem to get herself out of, right? So, but when she makes a blanket statement saying the state of commentary right now is so shit, if you don't adhere to this narrative of minorities bad, you get accused of lying, when in the reality is it's the opposite. Okay. And like I said, again, I don't want to necessarily harp on this, but I feel like part of what I do is commentary in nature, right? I'm not, like I said, I don't make quote unquote commentary videos per se, where I sit down and edit these videos and I make them all nice and neat, and I tie a little bow on top of it, and I present this package to someone saying, here's somebody's head on a silver platter, because that's really what commentary is about, right? Is handing somebody's head to them on a silver platter. Yeah. I don't do that. Why? Because I'm just a horrible editor.
I think maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we need better clarification. I think we need better classifications. I think to be honest with you, because this is a talk that we have a lot, with you and I. Yeah. It's like commentary. What is it? Like, what is commentary? What makes a commentary channel? Yeah. All this stuff. We talk about it ad nauseum. Yes. And what I think I'm realizing is that we need newer and better classifications for this. Okay. Because I think the reality is that commentary, what we describe, what we think of, you and I, as commentary, is like the 2015, 2016 commentary days. Yeah. And that is a bygone era at this point. And I would say, I think that it would make sense at this point to perhaps create new terms, like in the same way that like T-Channel kind of like, burgeoned off of that kind of commentary trope. Like I it's like, I don't know who actually coined that term, but I think that somebody's got to like kind of come around and coin a few other terms. Okay. I mean, I haven't really put too much thought into it or anything, but I mean, it's like commentary streaming is different than commentary videos. Mm-hmm. So like that's a distinction that I think is important to note, because it's like, because we've had this conversation off air. I don't know if we had it on air, but talking about the whole like your channel kind of being like scarce in a way, like not exactly. Yeah. But for those of you who don't know out there, Scarce was a YouTuber in 2016. I don't remember when exactly he quit, but he was seen as a rival to Keemstar's Drama Alert, because basically he did Drama Alert, but just instead of like the whole set and everything like Keemstar had, he would do like it was mostly like COD videos, right? It was like COD gameplay in the background, and then he would just like do the news, and it was like a daily thing. Whenever anything popped off, whatever, he always covered it as well as Keemstar. Sometimes they had different facts, sometimes they whatever. But the idea in the commentary sphere though was that Scarce was seen as boring but unbiased, and Keemstar was seen as biased but entertaining. So that's why I said, like, for people, I would say like, oh, your classification's kind of like Scarce. So it has like, we have parity for like what it was, like for what was, and so now like the what is like, I think we just need new terms, because it's this idea of like, because like commentary, it's like, is iDubbbz commentary anymore? Like because he was, but he's
he
not
definitely
now.
was. Yeah, I don't know what he would be called now.
See, but it's hard because also too he did make that little video. I mean, in a way, was not an exposed video. You know, the one that he just did on Froggy Fresh.
Well, it
but
was an
like,
exposed video, but it was exposing him. It wasn't exposing Froggy,
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel.
But what I mean is like that was him on the defense, whereas like commentary channels are usually like on the offense. You know, and I just don't know his content anymore. I don't know what he's done, and it's just so it's like it's hard because I think the answer for you of whether your channel is commentary or not is honestly yes and no. It's like yes if you see it as a certain thing, but no if you don't. It's like you're a part of commentary community, but do you engage with commentary content or do you make commentary content? It's like I don't know. For the classification for what you and I know is that no. But for the modern classification of it, I guess probably.
Well, I'm going to bring in definitely a pillar, I would say, in the commentary. That's Tommy C. How you doing, Tommy? How you doing today?
You know, the problem here is, Max, you're overcomplicating it. I know exactly what you're saying. The 2016 film is a commentary community. It's video games in the background, commentating on other issues. The problem with, we need different classifications is the word commentary is too general as it is.
Yes.
It's great. You could be a sports commentator. You could be this commentator, that guy. So I really wouldn't sweat the details. And I think it would just... I just like it's just the internet. There's nothing more.
I'm not.
I get what you're saying, like because you normally would say like or the commentary community. Okay, that could mean anything to them if they weren't familiar with like a Keemstar or a Scarce or the Bastard Drum or Grade DeadOnDave or Leafy or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's what they would never associate it because they weren't there, and it's not like they make documentary shows about that particular area. Maybe they will one day. I wouldn't be shocked if they did one day. But maybe if mainstream television ever figures out you can make money by doing that, they'll do it in a finger snap, make everybody rich.
So Tommy, like who do you think Jalen's talking about then? Because like that's kind of what we're talking about is like how like because she's saying that like commentary channels are saying that if minority like. She's saying that all commentary right now is pretty much saying minorities are bad, and if you go against that,
why would you take the word of a blazing idiot? I mean, it's an empty statement. I would give that much. The thing you're giving it much too much gravitas. I mean, honestly, Jalen is either extremely mentally disturbed or has an IQ of a hat size. It's probably a little of both. So I mean, I just think I saw what I don't even get offended. I thought it was funny. Like this is the commentary. This commentary. Nobody's saying that. It's a complete straw man. Her statement is a straw man. Nobody's saying that. And if you look at who's a commentator? Like Nick DiOrio, he's a lot more liberal than me. If you want to associate the right with minorities bad, which is also on its face not true. Even if you're right wing, you'd have to be extreme right wing to say that. Who's saying that? Who's saying that in her community? We're kind of we're adjacent to her or him.
I'm asking. I mean, and that's the question Peepaw was asking, and that's when he was like, "Well, am I commentary? Is it whatever?" And then that's why I piped up. I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's like I think it's a different."
Yes. In the sense that
it's ridiculous. Nitpicking. I agree with you.
Well, in the sense that commentary community refers to that group of young people that were connected to Leafy style commentary. Yes, because that's the community he's in. Those are the people he knows. You have the Keemstar, Scarce, Grade DeadOnDave, and then it went on to be like John Swan and stuff like that. So that whole area, and you don't necessarily need to do video games, but in a sense, it's it's a commentary channel. But don't take commentary, the word literally. Commentary refers to an event of YouTube content that happened around 2015. Like we have the what was the whole Gamergate era, and they were all commentators too, but nobody said the commentary community. They called them the skeptic community. So it's really just like
everything that happens on YouTube is commentary. Everything. I mean, it's comment.
It's the easiest content to make.
Right.
It's as easy. What are you gonna do? Make content like Jack's Films and actually be talented and put all stuff together and then get enough money together to make sophisticated content? No, nobody even starts out that way for the most part. You know, I know guys that do usually have a background in theater. They went to some kind of art school or something like that. You know, so it's just like, it's a way for commentary. Like, they used to say that, I don't know, like, I heard Weird Al Yankovic said rock and roll was invented for kids that couldn't sing so good but wanted to play music, and rap was invented, rap was invented for kids that couldn't sing at all. You know, and it's like it's kind of like, 'cause, you know, this commentary is kind of an invention, and everybody says this. Like, I mean, like President Trump says this. Don't go into don't be a critic. Critics are losers. Critics don't create anything. And there's some truth in that. So it's very easy content, and all you need is a little bit of personality and be able to connect with people. You know, and then, you know, like, I think that's my legacy, if there is such a thing, is I can connect with a few people. You know, and make a few people laugh. That's all it is. I couldn't be in a Broadway
I just
show.
wonder where I wonder where this term, like, that maybe, you know, maybe I am thinking too hard about this thing, but I do get fascinated by the idea of, like, where did these terms come from? Like, where did the term commentary come? Because when I started making videos in 2016 and stuff, that was already an established term, and everybody was using it to describe those Leafy style videos.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who coined that term? Like, where did that actually come from?
Well, if you think about it, it's probably organic, and you could never trace it down. It's not like people just don't wake up and say, I'm going to identify in a completely new concept. So it's one of these things like, what do I call this? Well, what is it? It's commentary. So I'll call it the commentary community. Well, commentary means something very different than commentary community. Commentary community is a YouTube phenomenon. Commentary community is a YouTube phenomenon. Commentary is very different, and that's what it is. It's soft pop culture, video game adjacent YouTube content. That's what it is. That's what it always will be, and that's really when it's at its best. I think, you know, I think it's very late, and I think my only problem with it, and I think our host can agree, is I hate the fact that it kind of shuts people in Generation X out a little bit. I think it's something that the problem is young people are taking in the content. I just wish it was more like a little broader age wise.
Well, it's funny. It's a weird. It's a really weird time that we're in commentary too, because it's like, you know, just to give an example, somebody like Dumpy, he is like, I think he's like second or maybe even third generation commentary at this point, because he was
say fourth or fifth actually.
Exactly, because time moves so much faster online. It's like, because his inspiration were people like Leafy, but it was also people like me, and it's like I'm like, I don't know, 3 or 4 generations. I don't know. It's like, so it's like how fast things move along. I think
you're doing what people do in your generation. You're you're trying too hard. And this is just the criticism to put. You know, I think it's a young person thing too. I think I did it too, because we were like, those guys are in the skinhead group, and those guys are the trendies, and those guys are hip hoppers, and those guys. And I think you're kind of high school. Any of these classifications. I know you don't, but you're trying to like. I'm not even saying I'm above it. All right. Sure. What you're trying to do is you're trying to find a way to it's an expedient way for people to understand what you're talking about. You're not being literal. You're speaking for expedience, and I think you're just thinking too hard about it. I think that's it. I think it's just too hard about it, and you know, that's not like me saying, "Oh, I'm so much better than you."
No. I don't take that at all.
You can't put me in any category.
Tommy, I actually appreciate you saying that, because I agree. Because we've been thinking and talking about this a lot, because this is just something that comes up naturally. And I think that there is some use to the idea of being able to use a term to be able to explain this.
And as far as it goes, but what it does, then it becomes a gatekeeping tool and all this other shit. Not that you're doing that either.
No.
Actually, it does. It's just the way people are. It's just to be, you're not in the commentary community, or you're not this, or you're not a YouTuber, you're not. So like that's the thing. I get just my thing would be, don't sweat. Don't act like you're above it. Don't act like you're above the label, right? But don't act like it's the end all and be all, and it has to be that way. And this is the way commentators behave, because that's nothing new comes to it. You know, somebody might come out with a new, really creative way. Look at a guy like White. I would never watch their car, but coming up there with the sparklers and the mask and the sunglasses, you gotta admit that was a pretty creative way to get noticed.
Sure,
you know, and it's light commentary and it's pop culture, and he knows who he's and he took, you know, he became probably a very rich man doing something like that. That's creative. Is he a commentator? I mean, who cares?
It's the internet. So to your point, it is all derivative. It's always the case that creators are copying other creators just because that's just the nature of art. But it's also just the nature of
artists. It's just the way. No, it's the nature of art. It's just the nature of the way things roll. You know?
Exactly.
It's not. I think of people, especially young people, they don't realize like I got 20. I got 40 years of pop culture I can look back on. You only have 20. Right. If that, really, so more like 15.
Probably less with COVID. Yeah.
Less with COVID. So, like, it's just young people tend to think that their thing is like the newest, and it's never been like this before. And by the way, we thought the same way when I was a kid as well.
Yeah, it's all derivative. Nothing is new.
No, it's all the same. Nothing's all
recycled. It has always been. Like, there's nothing within our generation, either of our generations.
The tech changes. That's it.
Yeah.
The tech changes. Nothing else.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the idea. I mean, I remember thinking heavy metal is going to last forever. I'm going to be wearing Iron Maiden T-shirts for the rest. No, I really thought that way when I was a kid. No, like this is because it's the coolest, and it can never be uncool. Well, no, everything goes out of style. You know, every single thing. Things go out of style. They come back and they become retro, and then they become cool again. And sometimes the kids. And what compliment I will make about your generation, more so than mine and one before it. You embrace, especially old games, old stuff more than prior generations, and wear it in your sleeve. I mean, like, what is it, Thrasher magazine, and that's a mid '80s thing to wear a Thrasher magazine T-shirt.
I think it's because my generation is really desperate for an actual identity, and the problem is that my generation of millennials, I believe, is like the end of the rope of derivativeness, and that's why I think the Zoomers are so wild and wacky. It's because they're trying to do something that is completely and totally new. Whereas like us millennials, and they can't. Yeah, there's no way because everything's already been done, and that's why we have TikTok. That's why we have these weird things.
I would say that. I mean, when I first came into the commentary community, I was really impressed by a lot of things that were really cool about it. Most of it was fueled by the tech. But there was a lot of things that were cool. Just like, I mean, like when I was a kid, and I think River can back me up with this, like once a game console went out of style, right, that was it. It was dead. Like dead as a doornail. Nobody talked about it. Nobody remembered it and what have you. You could talk to kids that are like 12, 13 years old that are really familiar. It would be rare. With like Sega Master System, and even more so, maybe actually old Nintendo, and be some kind of expert. Maybe they're doing speed runs too, and stuff like that. So in that sense, that is unique.
Yeah. Well, the genre
to be multi. I don't mean multicultural in the political way, right? Yeah. To be sort of to take in all the cultures, and because they're a lot easier to access through the internet. That is your identity,
right?
And you know what? No one knows their identity until you hit 40. Like when there's because there's got to be 20 years to look back at it.
Sure.
Yeah. Nobody knows your identity. Well, Gen X guys are in their 40s and 50s now. All right. You have to be able to look back at it, and you're not there yet. So the search for an identity is chasing a dragon.
Well, there's also the idea of delayed adolescence too.
Your generation is obsessed with identity more so than other generations.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying is you combine that with delayed adolescence, just the idea that like. We're like people are living for longer, so the age of just being, just like a young adult is kind of moving up and up.
You're really not an adult till you're 30 now.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
I would even say that about my generation. You're not an adult till you're 30.
Yeah, I honestly, for my generation, it's probably like 35 or 40. Honestly.
Yeah, probably right. But that's not healthy. That's not good because
no,
you know
what?
No, it's not good because girls their bodies aren't going to change that much as far as giving birth. Right. We're going to put all these dumb, stupid, weak guys into the world.
Well, it's already affecting things. I mean, like the population growth and everything. It's just you could get into a whole fucking thing about that. But yeah, it's stupid. I mean, the whole thing that we started out with this was just the I agree with you. It's probably overthinking it to do the commentary like breakdown of like who is what and where is what and stuff like that. But it is. Look at it. I get fascinated by Jalen's brain.
Yeah, sure. Well, you know what you should do. Here's the solution to the problem. Here's the solution to the problem. History videos about the commentary community would probably be really, you take certain, not just dramas, generations.
I don't know if you've seen this, but people have
done a good job of it.
Recently. And
Tom's done a good job of it, yeah.
Oh,
Tom's
okay,
done a good job of it. Turkey Tom's done a good job of it. I mean, obviously Wang and Wavy have gone, events certain memes and stuff like that. But I think maybe you're onto something. I'd make you a millionaire to capture a generation and put it in a video.
Yeah.
Maybe that's real. I don't have the talent, the know-how to do that. But maybe you should think like, you just take the whole. I don't know how you can do it, but internet 2015. There you go. There's your idea. Go make $1 million with it. Yeah, the internet, YouTube, and just like come up with your own identification for it, and then.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like because that whole Leafy era with Drama Alert and everything, baited all that, like everything. That was its own phenomenon. That was something that's very specific to that era, and it's something that has not carried over. It's kind of carried over, like it's still here, it's still around. But it's like now the new burgeoning, creators within the community are still being classified with that, and they don't have like a lot of these people that are in this space right now have never really seen a Leafy video. They don't really know who he is. They know the meme that is Leafy, but they don't know like really the content.
Yeah. No, that's just the way it goes, though. Yeah. They may get around to it. They may get around to it. But I think here's the thing about this whole conversation. Everything is happening as it normally would. There's nothing out of or particularly bad or good about the way. If anything bad is happening, it's happening on YouTube and Google's end because they're a bunch of it's a company full of Nazis. But that's a different topic.
Well, you talked about this actually I can't remember. I think you had Keemstar on Star from the Point, and I think you talked about that where it's like I think there is a little bit of algorithmic manipulation in the sense that the videos that were like 10 to 20 minutes long that Leafy or anybody else would make, they don't really get pumped in the algorithm as much. What gets pumped in the algorithm now is live streams or longer form content, which made it so that the content had to be stretched out a lot more. And honestly, I think that was a disservice to commentary because you have to add in so much more like ancillary, unnecessary crap just so that you can make your point. Whereas before, it was not unreasonable for a creator if they just wanted to make a quick spike video at somebody, they just make a 10-minute thing and it's just chock packed filled with information and a few funny moments. It's very easily shared. People don't have to. I think you even mentioned and talked about.
Remember when the animation community was just crushed in 2016? Yeah. And then slowly it made a comeback because of algorithm.
But you know what? You're right though. You're right to bring that up because their videos were like about 5 minutes and
5 minutes, but they only came out in a couple months. Because it took so much time to make,
And at some point, they were crushing it. I mean, they were crushing it at some point.
They came back.
2012 or something like that. And then it ended up coming back.
No, they were killing it up until about 2016 when they changed the algorithm to that 10-minute video and then daily uploads. That's what really, that was the major algorithm.
I think in some ways it's kind of coming back too, just with shorts and everything.
It did come back. It came back in about 2018. Tom did a bunch of it. Tom became, if you remember, Tom was kind of a critic of the animation community for a while, even got in animation dramas and stuff like that. So it did kind of make a comeback. There's more stuff out there, but I mean, it was crushed dead flat over with by 2016, and they made a change or two, and I think that's another new norm that we're gonna have to accept with the possibility of. And I don't necessarily get to the government getting involved and saying, you can't manipulate this to get the president you want in office. There are always going to be more reasonable manipulations of the algorithm, not just for business, but probably to try to make it a little fair. And I think in that effort, it's sort of like balancing a fighting game that for every if you nerf or buff this it's going to leave somebody else out and then maybe even have consequences that I just envision,
love the idea. I just love the idea that at YouTube headquarters, Susan Wojcicki calls somebody up on the phone. They're like, "What can we do in the algorithm to get these commentary assholes out of the game?"
That happens. There's evidence of that, and there's evidence of that happening in 2016. And Keem and Grade came up as and potentially scarce. I don't know if you remember that. They did think about it, and I guess they decided it wasn't in their best interest at the last minute. But slowly, surely, I mean, they've clearly done something to Keem. I don't believe that he just turned 40 and the fucking spout went off. They've obviously done something to him.
Well, there's D-ranking, it's shadow banning or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did that to multiple creators.
They got tired of Ethan and Keem fighting with each other, and they punished them both. Yeah. I think that's what it was that 100%. Simple. 100%. That simple.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because didn't they end up boosting up H3H3 content anyway? Like it's like they constantly choose.
You really don't hear much from him anymore, but he's got so many strikes. He's probably made him a little nervous.
Yeah.
I tell you something. I've gone through the experience of having a strike that lasted because everyone else I got cut. It is a frightening proposition Like more so than you got to. I used to be, you got to strike, because I never really had a strike that got me. It'll change you. It'll change your content if you want to be professional. If you want to pay the bills, it'll change the way you look at things. A lot of my whole, and it's really just pumping myself up, like last season and stuff like that. A lot of where my inspiration for that is the doom that the strike. It's only one. But you start to realize, you look at it like a soccer game. Like, okay, it's 1-0. If you score one, the best thing that happen, one more to tie it up, the best thing you do is really just walk away with a draw. You start looking at that concept. Like, one goal is huge.
It's just crazy to me that like the problems that we've always had with YouTube, even from like the 2016 era, they haven't gotten better in any way. They've just gotten worse, because this whole
I disagree with that. I disagree with that on its face, because if you look at like the I Hate Everything Channel Awesome type stuff, they were getting shut down. The channels were actually being taken down. You don't really see that anymore without some kind of a comeback. The FUPA, especially, I hate to say it, the FUPA lawsuit probably helped a lot. It gave YouTube permission to really defend us in the sense, and I think they'd much rather defend us than not that situation. Where the problems you're talking about, I think, have more to do on the political front, not the entertainment front.
That's
because it's
true.
very clear that these companies are trying to manipulate the world and media to suit their purposes. I don't think it's even out of the question at this point with the Twitter files.
I was speaking for the copyright issue, because this has always been a problem. This has always been something that's
much better now. I disagree.
Is it really?
It's so much better now. You were fucked. There was nowhere to go. You can put, how many channels do you know that were taken down permanently that weren't involved in maybe far right or far right content?
Well, one that I couldn't think of off the top of my head, which was like completely erroneous, was Silva Gunner. Silva Gunner put out he put out like parody content of different songs, like not popular songs, but like video game songs, pretty much. And then he would do like cute little parodies with it. It was direct parody, like it was very much fair use. But they struck down his channel, and I think he tried to make a new one, and they ended up striking that one down too.
Really?
I don't know if
I don't know who he is. How big was he? What was his sub count? What was his sub count, if you don't mind me asking?
It was in, I don't know if it was, I think it was either in the hundreds of thousands or maybe even in the millions. He's a very popular person.
That definitely does defeat my argument, but I never heard of him.
No. I mean, but that's what I'm saying is there are smaller creators who are not political, don't do anything political, and they just have gotten fucked over by copyright.
I'm sure, see, like small creators, but 100,000, I'm surprised he didn't get in touch with us, or maybe he didn't know to.
It's hard because I think some of these people are more isolated.
His content, and he did a lot of good. I mean, Quartering, for all his faults, really support other creators like that. He's amazing as far as like getting YouTube.
It's one of those things where it's like if a bear shits in the wood and nobody's around to hear it or whatever, right? It's like, does it really make a sound? I think that's kind of what I'm talking about. Is like if commentary doesn't cover it. There are a lot of issues that just go kind of fly under the rug and nobody ever notices. And I agree with you. Like it's a problem. It's not as big of a problem if there's an example on like the higher end of the sub count level. But it's like this affects a lot of like smaller creators too, and that's something that I really dislike. It's like
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Because it's one thing when you have an MCN to talk to about this copyright stuff, but it's another thing when you have no context. You're an independent creator. You don't even have like you don't even have enough subs in order to get into the partnership program, and you have no friends, and you're just making videos, and you might get 100 views. That's it. That's a hobby, and then it's erased, and all of your content is deleted just because you got flagged for a few erroneous copyright claims in the middle of the night. It happens to people.
I'm sure. I'm always sure. What I would have said before, if this conversation would have kind of developed organically, I would have said, I'm sure it happens to people, but we never know. And I think that's what you're talking about. So I don't think you could say, on the higher level. I mean, I never had an MCN. I never had an MCN. I never had a partner on YouTube, and I got out of. I think I've gotten about 5 strikes in a short period of time, and I got out of all of them except one.
I will say this. I'll give you that. Like, I think YouTube is better now at like the human resources aspect of it. I think that they are better, at least in my own experience, just limited from coming back a few months. It's like it seems like they are, if they file a claim against you on whatever level and then you contest it, it does get resolved a lot faster, because I remember back in the day it would take months and you wouldn't hear anything and there wouldn't be any emails or anything like that. So in that way, I agree with you. That system has definitely improved, but there are still issues. There are still, problems.
Yeah, look, there'll always be issues, but boy, when I came in, it's just dramatically different. All right, everybody, thanks. You guys have a good one. Take care.
Real quick, Tommy. Oh shit.
Oh, he's gone. Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy. I was going to try to get an answer for us on was he's going to say yes to the dress?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, well. He probably had to go get his inhaler. Some bitch sounded like he was about ready to die. God.
Should I start breathing really heavy into the mic too?
I don't know. I was just like sitting back. I was having fun. I was doing shit. I'm busting Tommy's balls a little bit. I'm not the best shape either, but damn, Tommy. Dude.
Well, I love it because he's always smacking gum and he's always breathing heavy into the mic.
But I was just letting you guys go and have your conversation. I was like, I don't need to interject nothing here. But by the way, thanks for the donation there, Nad Lad. It's much appreciative. So there were some questions about how much is in the philanthropy fund. Okay. So I some of you may not agree with my way I'm doing this. And if you don't, I understand, but please be respectful. So I want to help people, right? But what I don't want to do is embarrass people. And some people are really private people, okay? I will tell you that we had around $600 or so out there in the fund. There was a need that came to my attention, and I have a committee of people that are anonymous. You guys will never know who they are, because I think it's critically important that they stay anonymous so that they can be eyes and ears and help me. And that I tried to make sure that I selected a diverse group of people that can, from different aspects and different walks of the internet that I know, so that they can be the eyes and ears and they can see these needs out there and they can come and present somebody. And then we as a committee can discuss it. We will vote upon it, and then we'll make a decision where to go forward. Ultimately, it will come down to me using my knowledge from IT and technology to make the decisions on which way to go. And I will talk when at all possible. I will reach out to the person that is going to be the beneficiary of this fund to see what their needs are, see how we can meet those needs. And so we make sure that two things, that the technology that we purchase for these people will 100% be used and not sit in the corner and collect dust. There's nothing that in my entire 30 plus years of being an IT person would infuriate me more is when I would see people buy technology and then it would just sit and not be used. That is contradictory to everything that exists in my core. So we had a need that was brought to my attention. The committee discussed it. We were all on a board with helping this person. I reached out to this person. I talked with them what their needs were, and so we did recently help somebody. Now, this was not Jessica Pizzle. Jessica Pizzle was a totally separate thing, had nothing to do with the philanthropy fund. That was just me being me. Okay. This person will remain anonymous as far as what kind of help they got and what have you. It is up to that person to whether or not if they want to share that or not. Okay. Anybody that we ever help, I will not say who it is unless that person says, yeah, I'm okay with that. Because again, I don't want to ever make anybody feel like they are beholden, that they are in any way indebted or anything like that. That is not the purpose of this. The purpose of this fund, from my original intent, and it will always be this, is that I want to enable creators to create. Now, that means a lot of times that it's people that maybe just need that little extra help just to get there, right? And so that's what it's in, because I want that content to be created, irrespective if I watch it or if I enjoy it. It's not about me. It's about you guys as the consumers, right? And even if some of you guys are creators out there that watch these videos and stuff, you have people that you watch and enjoy, right? And so, I just want people to be able to make content. So go ahead, Max.
Yeah. So Peepers, if this is like a donation fund that you're setting up, or is this?
It's
like,
already set up. I've already got it all set up. Yeah.
So how are, I guess, like I'm saying, how are you collecting the funds for this?
Every donation that people that send in the tips or whatever through the Stream Elements, every bit of that money goes into a PayPal account that is solely used for this fund. Any purchases that people make through the merch store that's through this channel, all the proceeds from that goes into that fund. One day, hopefully in the very near future, when this channel is monetized, any ad revenue that this channel generates goes to that fund, period.
There you go. All right.
Because
I thought that honestly, I don't know. I don't know the legalities of this or anything, but like honestly, this type of thing actually wouldn't even be that bad to set up on like a Patreon or something like that. Because I could see people wanting to contribute monthly for this type of a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, it's a cool idea. It's a really neat idea.
It's possible, and maybe that's something that I will.
I hadn't thought about it until just now.
I hadn't thought about that either. I mean, so that's a good idea, and it may be something that I look into. I never thought of it.
Honestly, too, I mean, this is just pie in the sky, like me thinking off the top of my head, but I can even think of like maybe even I mean, this is just an idea, but like just like a partnership type of thing where it's like, for instance, if I knew, or if I got wind that somebody was donating to this fund, I might, give them a special badge or something in my Discord or something like, you know what I mean? Like some sort of benefit that actually just extends outside of that for like other creators that are maybe just closer to you or know that fund.
Sure.
That just kind of go like, oh yeah, no, that like you donate to that. That's a good thing. Like, congratulations, good for you. Here's a role or something like that. You know what I mean? I could see that really being like a cool kind of thing.
Well, my plans are, I mean, I've done a little bit of thinking, and as the numbers continue, as this channel continues to grow, I have to get a little bit more serious about it. Right. But one of the things that I do know is once we hit 1,000 subs, and hopefully YouTube says, yeah, we will let you into the partner program, whatever. And if people want to buy channel memberships and stuff, right? So that'll be money that will go again into that fund. Any revenue, anything that this channel generates is going into that fund. None of it will ever come into my pocket ever, right? That's just not the way it is. Me making content, me doing these shows, and yes, me even contributing financially at sometimes. That is my part of this partnership with you guys as viewers. Now, once we get that, and we get we get where people can become channel or whatever, subscribers, whatever it is, channel members, whatever. I will have it all integrated into the Discord. I have big plans there. I'm going to have special tiered memberships and stuff to where I'm going to, even though I feel like I'm pretty accessible, maybe even more accessible than what I should be to people, I'm going to have where I'm going to do member only streams here on YouTube, where it will be just us and the members. And of course, my what do you call it? My mods and stuff, right? They'll be able to in there helping me as well. But I'm going to be doing things in Discord as well, where we will have game nights, or we'll watch movies.
I just gotta say,
Yeah.
I am so excited for your channel in particular to get monetized, because I
Yeah.
think that like that it would just be such a helpful thing, because like, you know, one, it's good for the algorithm and all that
Yeah.
too, but it's just, you know, just the ability for those memberships and everything. You're at that level, you're at that point now, I think,
Yeah.
where you kind of deserve it. Like if I was somebody at YouTube and I, you know, whatever, like I had that ability, if I was looking at you objectively, I would feel like, okay, yeah, this guy belongs in the partnership program. Like skip the requirements. Like he's got it. Like he's not in a bad way. You know, he's not a bad guy. Just give it to him.
You know, and I'll be honest with you, I've started reaching out to some different companies. I'm hopefully going to be able to start entering in some negotiations with and partner with some of these different tech companies out there, to where I don't want them to just give me stuff, right? And for this to bless people. But if we can work out to where maybe I get stuff at cost, where I don't have to pay the profit margin and the, you know, that kind of stuff. But if I just get stuff at cost, or whatever, a special, you know, at cost deals or whatever, just something like that, because, you know, their time and stuff is worth, and they've got employees that they have to take care of. So I mean,
of course.
So I want them to take care of themselves, but that's my thing. And I hope
you're doing this in a way where you're not trying to get, you're not trying to make a profit. You're not trying to, turn over anything. It's just, Someone
did ask me one time, Max, they said, what happens if this thing really blows up and all of a sudden I become like this huge multi-million sub YouTuber and I got all this money and all this stuff? Are you still going to do all that stuff? I said 100% yes. What I will do at that point is we'll have to get really serious, because then that's when I'm going to start going to the big, really smart people who are business experts, to say, okay.
Yeah. You'll go to them and you'll also give half of it to me, and it'll be great, you know, because that's a charity in and of itself, really, if you think about it.
100%. So what I will do, what I plan on doing, honestly, is, you know, I'll have, you know, if it becomes a thing to where, but really, I mean, it becomes a job, for the lack of a better word, I still will try to keep the cost down as far as administrative stuff down, as to the bare bones. And I still will never, ever take one penny from this, ever. But if I have to hire people to help manage things and do things, whatever, they're going to be compensated. They will be paid.
I smell a 501c3 coming.
Something
I smell
like,
you know,
but you know,
I smell a nonprofit.
But you know, the thing of it is anybody, and I really, honestly, here's me being pie in the sky. I hope it does get to that point. I really, truly do, because I feel like there are so many people out there that make really good content, right? Mm-hmm. But they're only held back from the simple fact that the technology and stuff that they have restricts them and limits them. Yeah. Right.
It's a bar for entry. Yeah.
Yes, it is definitely. I mean, you can, here's the thing, guys, I'll be honest with you. God, honest truth. I'm going to give you something. If you are somebody that's struggling, you're saying, you know, I want to be a content creator, but I don't have $2,000 to throw down on a PC, you know, so I can do that. I'm going to tell you something. Listen to me here. You don't have to have a $2,000 PC to be a content creator.
You don't?
No. You can get a refurbished PC. Amazon has tons of them. Matter of fact, I just purchased one for Jessica Pizzle. She made it public, so I can talk about this. I got her new monitor and a refurbished PC that had 2 hard drives in it. One of them was, the OS was a SSD, which means it was really fast, would load up fairly quickly. And then it had like a terabyte, just old mechanical drive that you could store all your videos on, or your screenshots, or whatever it is that you want to do, right? Now, and
she'll fill that up so fast.
So fun, right? And so I think total price was a little over $300. Mm-hmm. Shipping and everything right to her house. It's like $300. It was nothing.
Well, I think it's a good thing also that you're approaching this from a thing of trying to make it as affordable as possible, because the fund could I mean, because you know, computers are expensive, and frankly, I think we're on the verge of them becoming a lot more expensive. Yeah. So but, you know, I mean, trying to keep it low is a good idea.
But again, here's the thing: if you're not wanting to like play video games, But if you're just strictly wanting to make content, which means record, have audio, have a webcam, you're just wanting to make content, you can get a $200-300 PC and $150 monitor, something like that, and get you a webcam. Again, $60-70 for a webcam. You can get you $60, $70, $80, $100 USB mic, and boom, you're making content. You get OBS free. If you want to do editing and stuff, you get DaVinci Premiere.
Or you hire me.
Or if you really get, you can hire Max, but if you're trying to do it on a budget and you're trying to do it cheap,
yes, of course.
You learn to edit yourself.
Right.
Everything that you see everything you see on this channel, I taught myself. And if this old man can teach himself to edit videos and make crappy ass thumbnails and stuff, you'll get better at it because you do it.
That's the other thing about this community that I really appreciate and always have is that sure there's some people that are a little bit more hardened, but for the most part, it's like if you go to somebody, if you like something that somebody does and you go to them and you ask them about it, I've never been rejected. I've never had anybody spit in my face over that or say, no, I'm not going to tell you. Usually it's like, they're pretty accommodating. They're like, this is what I do. This is how I do it. And whatever, and I've always like that to me is what makes this a community. If I'm being really jerk offy.
Oh, headphones. Yeah. You need some headphones, but again, you can get headphones for $20 at Walmart. It's not a,
we're at this point where, you don't, it's like, maybe you don't need a Jaguar, you don't need a Bugatti. You just need like a little Ford,
And I'm going to tell you something. Before that, you know what Jessica was using to call in on Discord and was using to make her videos and stuff on? A Chromebook.
Yeah.
Right? So you can even do it on a flipping Chromebook if you really wanted to. Yeah. Which again, you can get a Chromebook for a couple $100. It's not.
I mean, there are some of the creators in the space that use phones. Like it's not like, man, that is such a nuts thing. Like I never thought, honestly, like even when even like 10 years ago, if you had told me that people were literally making all of their content and it was actually good, high quality, like decent content that you wouldn't know was just on a phone, and they're doing it all on a phone, it's so impressive to me. And I got to say, as much as I really don't like TikTok, I think platforms like TikTok and Vine are like the big reason why that is a thing. Yeah. So it's hey, everybody out there, like it's accessible, like you, like don't, I mean, it's great that people is doing this, but at the same time, like you'd be surprised with, if you're willing to MacGyver things, like how cheap you can really get and have like the highest quality you can. Because I remember when I was coming into like fucking 2010, 2011, 2012, when I was making like my first sort of content, that was the thing for me, was I wanted to look as good as possible. And I felt very self-conscious if I put anything out that didn't actually like look good quality, like the other bigger YouTubers that I was watching. And I think people I think that doesn't really hold up on YouTube anyway. I don't think people really care about quality all too much. And so to get in your head about it is not good. But then also too, it's like, it's just easy to get that quality. Like it's if you are willing to just play around with things a little bit, you'd be surprised with, how good you can get it. So Peepers, I love this idea. I love this fund. I think it's going to be a cool thing.
Beavers. I seen you put out your little laundry list of stuff. There's just one problem. I don't even know if your country has like regular steady like power, so I don't think you could run a computer system like you're wanting. I don't think
you should just buy him a generator. Yeah, you should just buy him a generator.
You'd have to have a generator to run it. Exactly. Yeah. So
and well, yeah, because that would shut off the internet too. So I guess there's no point.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. All right. So Maggot sent me a clip here. So let's take this. You should be worried of anybody.
Kind of worried.
So let's see what this is here.
Hey, babe. Baby. When did I get in a relationship with Venom?
What's up?
My body is growling. I'm so hungry.
Okay. What are you in the mood for?
Well, you're Arab, right? I'm in the mood for some Arab meat.
Like, you want halal food?
No.
Gyros?
Not quite.
Well, babe, I don't know what you want.
Well, come here and look into my eyes like that.
Like what?
You are such a tease.
Release me.
Feed me.
Babe, I just bought this. Please,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't
Okay. All right.
do that.
She's wanting that D, man. Come
Listen,
on.
babe, my instincts are kicking in, and I'm hungry.
So what do you want?
I want you to treat me like the towers. I mean, my two legs resemble twins. Just pretend it's that.
Oh my
And you're the
God.
airplane.
No.
Blow me.
I don't know if I feel too comfortable in this relationship.
Shit, maggots. What the hell? God.
It's aggressive. It's aggressive.
No, it's pass aggressive. That's pass aggressive. God almighty. Oh, hey, I see Ruin Leon. Ruin, you said you wanted to hurl slurs at me, sir.
I mean, it's his right to, Peepaw. He's
100%.
allowed to. Let the man cook. Let him cook.
I think Leon should call in anytime that I'm streaming. He will be given a seat at the table.
You encourage him to say as many slurs as
Yes,
possible in
he
as
could-
little amount of time.
Exactly. That's who am I? I do not. What do you call it? I'm not speech police. I don't whatever. So
Sure.
and I like
Sure, that's what you
Leon.
say now.
No,
but-
I'll tell you what, I like Leon. I like his content. He gives a no nonsense approach to a lot of like real world stuff and stuff. And I think he believes that I'm like messing with him, but I don't. I watch his content regularly, and I appreciate his views and his opinions on that stuff. And I think that he has as level-headed take on a situation, and I really like Leon, and he's one of those creators that I discovered actually through Xylee, because I would see him on her streams. And I
Yeah.
started looking him up, and I've found, and I follow him on Twitter and all that. So, check out Leon if he's
It's a pretty cool cat.
he's a pretty cool
That
cat,
Leon.
yeah. And he's got that pink hat, man, that just works. So
It does. It just works for him. Both good.
All right, so let's wrap things up here. Let's see what's out there. Let's see who can we shout out today. Let's take a look here. Okay, so King Brick is still doing his thing. Is that fish tank thing still a going? Good.
Oh hell
night.
yeah. Oh hell yeah.
I've got to finish watching Shock Mouse. I tried to watch as much as it could, but I just ran out of gas. So I got to go check that out.
It was a good stream,
Was
if I
it?
may.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
were on
it-
there. Yeah, you were on there.
Yeah.
So-
It was cool. It was I think it I think everything, honestly, I mean, to be honest with you, everything I feel like I wanted to say,
Yeah.
I said there.
Okay.
Just a little scoop. If we do end up talking about this anytime, or if I'm ever on a
Yeah.
stream where I end up talking about this or having to bring it up,
Yeah.
I'll probably just defer to that stream and just say everything that I, opinion wise, that I needed to say. I think I said on that
Yeah.
on that stream. And I would say that like Ozzy, put up an apology
Yeah.
Twitlonger kind of thing last night after the
Yeah.
stream ended. And I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. At the very least, like I was placated by it. I think, there has been some raking over the coals that has happened. And I just, I guess on a personal level, like Ozzy being my friend, she is a very nice person, very sweet. And I think that it was deserved to get a little bit of smoke by this, but I think the raking over the coals, at least on my end, whatever anybody else wants to do, but at least on my end, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
disengaging. I'm stepping away because I think the apology was met, and I think it was pretty decent. Like I said, my position from the very beginning of this is like this was never that big of a deal anyway. But just the fact that it kind of played out the way that it did, I think it was good. I think it was kind of an interesting sort of
Okay.
I don't know,
I did
learning
not,
experience.
I did not know that she had put out a Twitlonger.
Yeah. So she. Yeah.
So let's-
Sorry, I
let's-
didn't mean to drop that on you.
No. So let's see what she says. I know I've messed up and I shouldn't have let the situation go like I did. This is my one and done, and I'm leaving this in the past. Fair enough. The Valentine's Day stream was something that caused me a lot of discomfort. I felt like I tried to put boundaries, but I felt like it was ignored, which didn't help my feelings at the time. I talked to D-Max about the Valentine's Day stream a day or two later. I took things out of context that he had told me as him saying that I should have expected it, having Chris and Mitch on my stream, and that I should have known that this was going to happen. Okay. I should have spoken to Mitch and Chris sooner. Okay. So she's admitting that she should have. Okay. But I believed at the time that it was all on me for having them on the stream and should let it go. I'll come back to that. I owe Chris and Mitch the biggest apology. They do not owe me a cent. Communication is something that I struggle with, and I know that it is something I have to work on and will be working on in the future. I hope that Chris and Mitch will accept my deepest apology for not approaching them like an adult. Okay. And talking to them both, I hope that we will remain friendly with each other and that we can all move on. I also want to thank everyone who has been there for me and supporting me with their advice and guidance. Okay. For the most part, this is a perfect statement. It really, truly it is.
Yeah.
The only thing that I will say is that she should have never, ever felt like, whether implied or otherwise, she should have never felt like that it was all on her. And as far as, well, she says, I should have spoken to Mitch and Chris sooner, but I believe that the time it was all on me for having them on and the streamers should let it go. So what I'll say to that is this. A lot of young people, okay, Ozzy's age, I know this. I was there once myself. I have 2 sons that are there right now. A lot of young people, I include myself when I was that age, when we hit our 20s and stuff, we feel we're out, we're starting to spread our wings as adults. And we start thinking that we've got the bull by the balls. And the truth of the matter is the bull has got us on the end of its horns and it's tearing us a new one. But we are so, I don't know how to put this. We have an abundance of confidence that we probably really shouldn't have. And we have an ego to match that confidence. And so we think that we are right no matter what the circumstances are, right? And the truth of the matter is that we still have so much to learn. We have so much more life to live, and that's the way that we learn. Now, did Ozzy make some mistakes? Yes, she made some mistakes. She accepts that. She says she's learning from that, and that's all that anyone can ask of anyone, is that they learn from their mistakes and they grow to be a better person. I think Ozzy will do that. I think Ozzy is a good soul. I think she has an extremely good heart. I would encourage her to find her voice, because when she says that she thought she felt like she had put her boundaries out there, but felt like she was being ignored. Okay. Then if that was what you need to do is if you feel like your boundaries are being ignored, you've got to make them not be ignored. This is where you have to find your voice and you have to be very clear, even if that means that you have to silence other people, especially if it's in your Discord, you mute them and where they can't talk or whatever. And you say, I need to make this clear. This is a line that I'm not comfortable with. This is my show. We have to change directions here. You quieten them and you make them clear, right? The other thing too, and I think this is just, again, being young, is that certain people have a certain character about themselves, right? And they like to make certain jokes, or they like to talk in a certain, manner, whatever. And for some people, that may be too crass for them, right? And that's fair. That's their right to feel that way. But it's kind of like this. You kind of have to know what you're buying, right? So when you have somebody on, you have to kind of know what their character is. You have to know what their, their style is. So, and I think that's something that maybe she's learned from this. And, but I see nothing to pick apart about this. I really don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like
yeah.
everything's kind of been said. I just want to add the one last thing is just that for me, I know, again, personally, I know that it takes a lot for Ozzy to admit a point of immaturity, because I think that she holds herself to be very mature, and in a lot of ways she is. So that was what spoke to me, was the comment about being an adult about it. That was like, okay, that's fully humbling. That's fully like, she gets it. She gets the criticism. She understands. She's taking it in. And that for me is why I'm like, okay, disengage. You get it. There's no reason to rake over the coals, at least for me. So, yep. Yeah. But yeah, so Shockmouth stream, pretty good, pretty cool. I think, it was interesting. There was a lot of different takes from a lot of different people. Towards the end of it, it kind of opened up into Abby Blackbird was there, Jessica Pizzle was there. I'm trying to think of the other people that were on the call. Oh my gosh, there were so many people that came in and out. But it was a lot of people, a lot of cool things, a lot of fun. Always, I always have a fun time on Mitch's streams. So yeah, go check it out. I mean, it's pretty cool.
I'm sorry, I was just tweeting out or putting a comment.
You're okay. I thought my internet dropped out. I was like, oh shit.
No. I'm sorry. I was finishing up my little thing there for Austin.
Dead air.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, definitely go check out Shockmouth. Everybody knows I like Shockmouth Mitch. I think he's very talented, entertaining dude. I can't wait for his next Shockmouth news. I love those. I really think they're good.
People, we're seeing it. I think we're seeing like a reemergence of commentary that we were just talking about with TommyC. I really think we are, because like Chanry's doing that kind of shit too.
Yes.
And it's like that's a whole cool thing.
Yes.
Like, it's just like, I love this. Like, Mitch, keep doing that. Chanry, you keep doing your thing. I'm gonna start posting my videos. And everybody out there, this is a call. This is like me, fucking Whitebeard. The One Piece is real. The One Piece is real. Go. It's a new time, a new era for content. Get out there and get off your ass and make it. Make your videos. Stop doing your live streams, as much of your live streams. I know that they're more lucrative. They're better in the algorithm or whatever. For fuck's sake, it doesn't take a lot to make a 5 to 10 minute video. Go do it, commentary. I believe in you. I know you have it in you.
And I will keep continuing being the boring, dull, scarce that I am. So,
well, as you're right, as is your right. That's the proper classification.
I don't know, man. I'm sure it's laziness. A biggest part of me why I don't make actual like videos is laziness. But I really just.
It's a different skill set. I mean, even Xylee was lamenting that, like the making a script and then making the video. It is a lot of work. It's not the same as I don't want to say that it's more work than the live streams, because now, having done the live streams, I know that is a lot of work too. But it's just different. It's like with live streams, it's like you spend a lot more time in the production aspect of it.
Sure.
Whereas with video production, you have to do pre-production, production, post-production. It's like actually it's a whole pipeline. Whereas like with live streams, it's just like you flip on the camera and you start going. So there's more prep work.
You know what it is for me? Because there are a few actual edited produced videos on my channel. They're not a lot, but there are a few. It's the whole setting down and to start to write a script, right?
Yeah.
If you go back and look at my videos, you can tell when I'm using a script and when I'm just talking off the cuff. When I'm using a script, it's a lot more succinct. It's to the point. It's just a better video. The biggest thing is I hate listening to my own voice. And so when you're doing a produced video, I have to listen to my voice. I have to edit it, and I have to listen to my voice. And I think I have the most grating voice known to man.
You want to know something really funny, people?
What's that?
Is that the reason why when I started making commentary videos, I decided to start talking like this and like, hey everybody, how's it going? Blah blah blah. Like the reason why I put that voice on is actually for that exact phenomenon, because I was making videos on a different channel where I didn't have that voice on, and I was just speaking more plainly, kind of like this, reading off of a thing. I'm dyslexic, so I just kind of have a very monotone sort of style. And what I realized was that me in editing, I hated it. I couldn't stand it. And the moment that I decided to put that on and started to do that whole, you know, more of the showmany, like, hey everybody, blah, blah, you know, like Disney Channel speak, it's like then it became like, oh, okay, well I'm doing like a bit here, and it became easier for me to process, and I was able to kind of remove myself a little bit more. So I don't know, maybe try something like that. I know you got some acting chops in you. I know you can do it.
I don't know about all that, but anyway.
Well, you don't need to anyway. Your content's good enough.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Here's one of Leon's videos. I haven't watched this one yet, but I know this story. This dingbat, the young lady there in the thumbnail, got hammered, was 3 times the legal limit, intoxicated. She ran over and killed 2 people. I think we actually covered that on the channel, on this channel one day. But I guarantee, you know, Leon takes it, makes it, you know, into a 7-minute little video, and he is very witty. He's funny. He just, you know, go check that video out. I will promise you, it will be worth. Matter of fact, here, let me just do this right here, share, copy, boom. If you guys have never ever seen Leon or any of his content, there you go. There's one of his videos. Go check it out. Not right now, but after the stream. Put that out there in your to-do list. And check, because I'm telling you, he's good.
I haven't seen too many of his videos, but I gotta say, his Twitter is a riot. I love his Twitter.
Well, if you like his Twitter, you'll love his videos, because his videos are you know, his Twitter in live action. Mike the Bike has a new video out. Tippy Come Home. That caused Mike the Bike actually to get the Twitter block by Tippy. Tippy has blocked.
Yeah, there's some speculation that maybe Tipster removing himself from the internet might have actually had something to do with that. So that's interesting.
Did Tipster remove himself from the internet?
He is back, as far as I know. This morning I was looking at tweets and he's here, but he did private his account, I think sometime last night. I have a tweet if you want it. I just gotta get it. Because he probably removed the tweet.
Back.
Let me grab that. I'm gonna forward it to you.
Because I'm looking out here, I don't see anything talking about leaving. So
I gotta screenshot my screenshot.
So he has to screenshot that. So now we're 3 generations into this, so the quality will be excellent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's okay. It should be all right. I'll send it to you.
I'm looking here. Get on the DMs with the Max Ceruni. And I'm waiting.
Boom.
Okay. Okay. Open in browser.
Yeah, so that was last night at
Breaking,
some point.
Tipster leaves the internet. Says I'm going to be, so he went private. That's the lock there. Says I'm going to be taking a brief break for a couple of days. Admittedly, my mental health hasn't been the best as of late, and I just need some time to decompress. I'll be back when I'm back. Until then, take care. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, and honestly too, like I, in case this ever reaches them, I really do hope, like, people out there, like, I think that commentary, and self included, I've done this too, like to dunk on people who take like a break or go away, you know. But like the reality is, like, this is kind of like, it's not super mentally taxing. It's not like we're going to fucking war or anything. But like, you know, it does get a little bit brain heavy sometimes, and I don't think it's a bad thing to just disengage, to back away, and to go touch some grass. I think that's a really good thing, you know. And so it's like, Tippy, like, he posted this last night, and now he's back on Twitter and, you know, kind of acting, I think, like nothing ever happened.
Nothing ever happened. Yeah.
I don't know what the context of this is, but I hear scuttlebutt that there were, like, he made some comments on his stream last night. And so I'm concerned for him. You know, I hate to see it, because I know that he's catching a lot of flack right now for some of his opinions and stuff, as he does. But also too, I also realize this is kind of the tipster cycle. So, you know,
Yeah, I'm not.
I hope he gets
seeing
right
a-
with it. You know,
I'm not seeing a tipster stream out there, so I don't know.
he
Maybe did. I don't.
yeah
Yeah.
he removed it. Yeah, that it was something he said at the very end.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Yeah.
Tipster and I have always been very friendly with each other. I never, never had anything. But
I mean, he's one of
have-
my biggest fans.
Yeah, I think I've always been very, he shouted me out in the past, and I've always been very appreciative of that. He's talked me up on his streams in the past, and I'm very appreciative of that. But I do know that sometimes it does get a little bit much for him. Tipster does cover and talk about controversial subjects. And when you talk about that kind of stuff, there will be blowback. And I think sometimes Tipster lets it get to him a little bit too much, and he, has to take a break. I take breaks, guys. I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
There, I know it seems like people are on all the time. You're right. I am. But when I take a break, I take a break. Like I go out of town. I go away with a wife for a weekend, and I'll go 3 or 4 days. I may interact with some people a little bit on Twitter, or I may have some DMs with people, whatever. But I'm in the moment with my wife. I'm in the moment with my family. I'm enjoying the beauty around me that is in nature, and but I do
all
my
that
best.
boring shit.
Yeah, I do my best to unplug, and so there's nothing wrong with taking breaks. It's healthy. It is good for you.
It's the nature, I've been learning this a lot
Yeah.
with some of the dramas that have been happening. I think it's like there are some things that are good for the person, for the individual to do, but then the community goofs on the person. And where before, like, I kind of was like, oh, that's wrong, that's mean, that's bad. It's like now I kind of a little bit more jovial about it. I understand that, like, it's just a goof. It's just a goof and a gaff. And I think that, like, sometimes, sure, it's adversarial, but at the same time, I think sometimes too, it's a little bit more, it's like, it's friendlier, It's like it's light little jabs that a friend might do to another friend or something like that. Like Tipster likes to go around calling everybody a friend, right? So just see it like that. It's like it's a matter of perspective a lot of the time for like how you perceive these things. That's a statement. It's a matter of perception, how you perceive things. Oh Jesus!
Well,
it is early for me.
I don't think you necessarily have to announce you're taking a break either.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I think that's the problem. I think a lot of people fall into that trap. It's like, don't do that. If you want to take a break, just go take a break. If you need to announce it to your people because of a stream or something like that, you committed to something and you want to do that, that's fine. You can say like, hey guys, sorry, I'm not going to be able to do the streams. I'm going to be away for a little bit, but just don't say, you don't need to say why. No. Yeah. I think that's probably why a lot of people get in trouble. Yeah.
So anyway, we check out Ruined Leon, check out Mitch Shockmouth's channel, check out I'm gonna tell you something. Yesterday I had to drive into work. I had to go and we had a retirement thing, whatever. And so I queued up the now recording episode where they had Tommy C and crew on, and they were talking about the Illuminati thing. Listen to that on the way there and on the way back. Excellent episode. I'm going to talk positively about Matt Pitt for a minute, which I don't always do. I'm busting his balls. Matt Pitt had the most thorough investigative. I mean, he had like dates, times, and he stepped them through it. There was times where Tommy's like, I don't know, I don't remember. Yeah, that sounds right. But Matt had went out and had collected for the lack of a better word, a Bible, and he had chapter and verse, and then he had people there giving testimonies. Yes, this happened. Yes, I can confirm this. Yes, this, whatever. I don't think you can find a more detailed history of that time era and what happened than on the now recordings most recent episode. video that they dropped.
If you want a really good, succinct breakdown of Illuminati's involvement with Tommy C, that's it.
Yeah.
That's where you go. And it's so funny too, because that's the one, or I think there are a few things that Illuminati never brought up, but that is one of the bigger controversies, because that's a huge deal. Of all of the things that I've heard from Illuminati, her deleting another content creator's videos, abusing her manager role, huge deal. Yep. That's the type of thing where if that, like, I don't know when that happened, but that's the type of thing where if Drama Alert was kicking, that would have been a huge Drama Alert news.
It was. That happened. I think that happened like in 2018, if I remember right. I was around. I was watching stuff back then. I was a nobody, and it's not that I'm somebody now, but I mean, I was really not known back then. But I remember all that, and I remember the videos, and the videos were great. And here's the thing. This was something that I did not know. I did not know that it was like 13 videos that she deleted. I thought it was just like,
it was a bunch.
I thought it was like, I thought it was like 2 or 3 videos. It was essentially the entire catalog.
And it was one of the videos was one of Tom, as far as I understand, one of Tommy's biggest videos too.
Yeah.
It had like the most views and everything on it. So that's like absurd.
When they were going over the Barley House thing with FaZe Banks and
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
That was a huge thing, because here's the thing. Tommy, from the get-go on that thing, called it out for what it really and truly turned out to be, was that FaZe Banks and Alyssa Violet went in there and was being typical 20-something airheads, thinking that they were more important than what they really were. And they were trying to treat these working class stiffs in this bar like they were nobodies, essentially, and they got tossed out on their ear. That's what it was. The story that FaZe Banks and Alyssa Violet at the time, the narrative was that was being put forth was that somebody, that staff within the business there had been inappropriate with Alyssa Violet. And that was not the case at all. And the bar actually put out CCTV footage from the night, which totally debunked everything that FaZe Banks was saying. They were intoxicated. They were doing stupid things that young intoxicated people do. And that was it. And Tommy called it from the get-go. He ran against the narrative. And the reason why that Drama Alert never covered Tommy's coverage and shit of that, or all that kind of stuff, was because Keemstar's association with FaZe Banks. As a matter of fact, if I remember right, FaZe.
You're right. I didn't even think about that. You're totally right. Yeah.
If I remember right, Keemstar was basically saying, "Oh, this was tenfold Tommy again and shit," and he was sitting there.
Yeah, because they were still at odds probably from the beta day. Yeah.
And not too terribly long ago, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, something like that. Now, I guess it has been, there was Mom's Basement that FaZe Banks and Keemstar had this podcast that they were doing on Spotify, right? Okay. Well, FaZe Banks wasn't going to be able to make an episode, so he had Tommy come on to it and did a whole thing. And my understanding was FaZe Banks was not happy about that when he heard what had happened. So FaZe Banks flat out does not like Tommy C, because Tommy C proved him to be a liar. And so, yeah, it was one of the biggest stories and stuff that not only the SFTP, but because they were doing the little thing they did with the Get to the Point news.
Yeah.
Do a little take on it as well. Yeah, it was huge. It was a huge video. I want to think it was, I don't know if it hit 1 million views or not, but I think it was up there. It was, so yeah.
It's just crazy to me. It's like you have a stream, like my thing is, like, regardless of how embarrassed you are of whatever it was that was said on there, and how much you want to, pivot to your fucking grift, Illuminati, like deleting somebody's video, like abusing your mod power and deleting somebody's video. That is, I honestly, I've never heard of a drama like that before, but I would imagine in terms of commentary content, that's like, I would put that above like false flagging. I would put that above, because that's direct. It's just like you just deleted, like that's just nuked.
Yeah.
Like, and there was no backups as far as I understand. So it's just they're gone. It's just like that point of history, you know. Like people don't understand this. Like content like that means a lot to creators. Like whether they want to be, you know, hardened about it or whatever, it's like it does matter. Like you put your heart and soul into that kind of thing, and it really, if it gets removed like that, that's part of the reason why false flags and false strikes and just strikes and copyright and all that stuff, like that's why that matters at all anyway. But then you add on the additional thing that nothing was wrong with those. They were hyper successful. And then somebody who Tommy trusted like turned heel and did that whole thing. It's like, you know, it's a crazy drama. It's a crazy concept. So go check out that video from Now Recording.
Yes.
If you don't like Tommy at all, I will say Tommy also admits fault, which is something that's fun to see. So if you're into that, go check that out for that reason, I guess. I'm just trying to give people reasons to go fucking watch the content. Go watch it. It's a good video. I worked hard on it.
Yeah, it was very good. And here's the thing. You had kind of left this part of the internet when all this stuff transpired, so you came into it blind. You knew none.
I wish I was around for that. Yeah, it's so funny because I kick myself a lot, you know, because when I left basically for college. Yeah. And I really wish that I had kind of at least still stuck around, just like maybe just as an orbiter or just like as a viewer. Yeah. Honestly, like I'm looking back, I kind of kick myself because if I had gotten more into like the Tommy C crowd and just had like kind of bared with it, I think I probably would have ended up enjoying it more than I did. But you know, I mean, it is what it is. Things happen, I think, for a reason. And I think that I'm very happy with the fact that I can be a little bit more removed from some of those older, you know, stuff so that I can approach it with like a fresher mindset and just see like this Illuminati thing is like objectively bad, like objectively probably one of the worst stories I've ever heard a content creator pull on another content creator.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I put the link to the video there in chat. You guys, that's another one for you to go check out. I'm telling you, if you want there's
something for everybody there.
Yeah. It is the most thorough, accurate timeline to now. It is presented with a bias because it's Tommy C's, you know, but everything that is presented is backed up with screenshots. It's backed up with firsthand, people's testimony. There's
receipts.
There's receipts, lots of receipts. So anyway, so Max, tell people where they can find you besides, we know you're on Now Recording. You're like,
Now Recording is the biggest thing for me right now. My Twitter is the other place that you can find me. I'm kind of in a weird zone because I'm in between houses and I'm dealing still with a lot of like, there was a whole fucking thing with me trying to sell my house yesterday and that became a whole thing. But so I'm not doing streams as much. I'm going to try to do that here and there. I'm on Twitch. But go follow me on Twitter at D_Max_HS. You can follow me over there. Yeah. And I post funny things from time to time. Thank you for having me on, Riv. I appreciate it as always. Great show.
You always have a permanent seat here, bud. You know that. And anyway, so guys, we're going to get out of here. I'm going to let Mike the Bike get us out of here on his latest tune they dropped. Tippy come home. But remember, guys, to always keep your powder dry. Oh, before I do that, I forgot. I got to hype this. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the third and final round. Tomorrow we have Gigi Hartz and Rylan, who will be going.
Oh, I'm super excited about that.
Yes. Every one of the contestants has just been, and I'm not saying this, whatever, hyperbole. They have been out freaking standing.
Right.
Banana and I have such,
good luck.
When the women, when the broadcast did theirs, and I was like, golly, because I was like, oh, I really was, I was like, man, Zadi and those girls had such a hard. Banana and I put ourselves in that same position because there's just so many creative people out there. And that, I'm gonna just say this: Banana and I were extremely honored and blessed that every one of these people decided, that they wanted to be a part of our show. That really you don't understand how much that means to me and Banana, that we would garner that quality of people wanting to come be a part of our show. Our choices are going to be very hard, but tune in tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Clear as Mud podcast. GG, Hearts, and Rylan will be the last two contestants. Banana and I will then, this next week, we will meet, we will discuss, we will argue, we will hammer it out, and we will make a decision. And then we will announce the next two members of the podcast this next week. I can't give you a date and time because I don't know because we have a lot of deliberation to do. So anyway, with all that being said, I do have to get out of here. It's I went way longer than what I thought I would do today. Thanks to Tommy C for calling in. I appreciate it. Thank you for Captain Poofers for calling in. Thank you to D-Max for calling in. I think I got everybody. Thank you for all you guys for tuning in and watching today. I appreciate it. Go out here and support these creators. Comment underneath their channel, their videos. Let them know that you're there. Put that thumbs up on them for them. And I will see you guys. Remember to keep your powder dry. Keep your powder dry. And look for me in the funny papers. And Mike, take us out, buddy.
Dippy, now I know I was wrong. I messed up and now you're gone. Dippy, I'm sorry I neglected you. Oh, I never expected you to go and defend Lolly accidentally. Your simping right now would sound like music